How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. This is JR Wisdom, and you have tuned in to the JR Wisdom channel. Once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If it's your first time checking out one of my videos, one of my interviews, one of my live streams, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for future content like this. Hit that like button right now. This is going to be a fire interview. You know, I have a special guest, one of my favorite content creators, influencers. You know, I can go on, so on and so forth. But before I bring them on and we get right into it, because we're gonna be talking about some masculine things, and this brother has a very interesting history. Go ahead, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're gonna jump right into it. So without further ado, this brother he's a master teacher, he's a father, musician. Uh, I need to go on my thing and read it here. He's an influencer. He's a basically all around powerful orator and has a huge following. You guys will be able to check him out. We'll have all that information. So without further ado, man, let's go ahead and bring him on. So with that being said, Mr. Clark, how are you doing, sir?
What up, brother? I appreciate you for having me on your show, man.
Hey, no worries. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I put it out into the universe as far as that, and you showed up, you appeared, and I know we're gonna get into that, later.
Yes, sir.
So real quick, how where are you calling in from tonight?
Durham, North Carolina. Durham, North Carolina, the Bull City.
That's right. That's right. You know, I'm familiar with everybody know Raleigh, but I appreciate you always saying Durham.
Yeah, man, Raleigh, Durham. You know, it's the airport, Raleigh, Durham. They sister cities, so this area is booming right now. So Raleigh, everybody that's not from this area say, "You from Raleigh, Durham?" I said, "No, it's actually two separate cities, but you know."
For sure. Yeah, I used to live in Fayetteville, but I know that's kind of, about an hour away, I believe. But
yeah, we call that Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah, I was the once upon a time. But anyway, I appreciate you. That's always one of my spots there. That part of North Carolina as well. So we're gonna jump right into it though, because I know we're gonna be talking about masculine topics and things like that. And I know you're a very opinionated person. People either love you or hate you, obviously, but they can't turn their heads away from you at the end of the day. So, you grew up? Did you grow up in Durham, or where did you grow up at?
I grew up in a place called Ridgeway, North Carolina. I have to say Warren County is like by Henderson, because if you name the towns, people don't know it. So I say Warren County. It's like right the town before South Hill, Virginia. So it's right on the border of Virginia, small country town. So that's pretty much where I grew up at, born and raised there.
Gotcha. Is that near, was it Emporia, or is that another part of Virginia?
Kind of close, like 85 north. As soon as you hit Virginia, you're leaving Warren County. So it's the most northern county in the state of North Carolina.
Got you. So what was it like growing up there for you?
Oh man, I had a good Southern upbringing. Grew up in a big family house, 4 generations in one house.
Oh man,
have a bathroom. I thought I was poor. You know what I mean? I thought I was poor. I got teased a lot growing up, but my grandfather and my family owned a lot of land, and that land is still in my family now. So I realized that land is the only non-renewable resource. So now I realize we were wealthy, but back then, man, we had pigs, cows, chickens, gathered eggs. It was just, I considered it a hard life at the time, but I realized I was blessed, man.
So you said 4 families in one house?
My great-grandparents. Yeah, my great-grandparents, my grandmother, my mother, and us. It probably was about 13 people in one house. And that's how we came up. And I never forget, I laugh. I was working a job with a Mexican guy, and I was joking, like being funny. I was like, wow, y'all live in the house. And he was like, we learned that from Black people. And it hit me like, damn, I'm joking, but that's how I grew up. You know what I mean?
Right. So was it like in these 4 families, was it mostly, because I think I remember you mentioning something like that, and that's where you learned a lot of, you learned about female nature by having a bunch of aunties and things like that. Was it predominantly women in the household or men in the household?
I had 4 uncles, but my uncles, they were They work the farm. You know, when you work a farm, it's an early life. You get up early. By 12 o'clock, you're done working, and then they got to drinking. So they were like, you know, alcoholics. But you know, I learned so much from my aunties. It was 6 aunts in the house and great grandmother and grandmother. So I learned so much about women just listening, being that kid that was nosy, you know, learning stuff that I shouldn't have learned at an early age. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I say all the time, you know, before I learned what racism was, before I learned what hatred is, before I learned anything about evil, I watched the women in my family not be able to get along, you know,
Right.
and that's where I learned what lying and backbiting and being bitter was, you know what I mean? And I love them, but that's where I learned that at first in my life.
Mm. I think that's very powerful. Like, you know, because a lot of guys who grow up, like I grew up in a single mother home. I didn't have a father in the household, so there wasn't too much for me to absorb other than my neighborhood. But you got so much experience, knowledge, and wisdom just by seeing this early on.
Yeah, I call
Um,
myself the woman whisperer.
you said a woman whisperer,
Yeah, I call myself because I can tell them why and what they're thinking and why they're
right?
thinking, you know, and they, most of the time they dislike it, but they're happy that someone can actually communicate their feelings to men because they have a hard time communicating their feelings to men.
Got you. And when did you discover that you had it? I don't even want to say I don't want to call it a talent, but I guess some of us would call it a talent. When did you discover that you had that ability?
I mean,
And
honestly, man, anything is like trial and error, like being a doctor or a scientist. You know, I always been a tall, handsome guy, you know what I'm saying? And playing college football and basketball in high school. I always joke, I said I dated everybody from the zeros to the tens.
right,
So I
right,
kind of know how women are just from experience, like almost like the stereotypes that we think that light-skinned women behave a certain way, tall women behave a certain way. It's like there's a lot of truth to that. The same way women think black, darker guys and lighter guys behave a certain way, or fat men or short men or broke men or men with money. There's some truth to those stereotypes. As black people, we do like chicken.
right. So you did you grow up in the church?
Yeah, I grew up heavily in the church, like heavy in the church, like 3 days a week. I sung on the choir. You know what I mean? Ironically, my grandmother, the house we lived in was a liquor house, and it was right down the street from the church. And my family's land, you have to pass the church to get there now. So it was like we were forced to go to church and heavy into church, but my family was known as like Hellcats, you know what I'm saying, with the
Right,
liquor house and my uncles and my aunties. They were pretty girls and everybody wanted them. So my family had a not so good of reputation, but all of the children came up in church. You know, you get a certain age and you stop going, but that was very instilled in us.
so with you growing up in church, did you have like a because we're gonna get into this the whole spirituality thing. Did
Yeah.
you have a aha moment early on in terms of that, or were you just like, did you have like the dogmatic view with it being instilled
Uh,
in you?
I grew up believing in God full speed,
Right,
everything I had in me. And when I was 14, my grandmother wanted me to get baptized because they say, you know, it's borrowing from the Jewish bar mitzvah. When you get 13, you become a
right,
man. So in the Baptist church, it's like when you're 13, you're responsible for your own sins. So I didn't get baptized at 13. I got baptized at 14. And
right,
the kind of the aha moment I had was like, I went down in the water and, you know, we were taught that speaking in a joke in church. Tie my tie, retie my tie. It's coming in a Honda. And I remember when I came up out of the water, the pastor was saying, speak in tongues. And my grandmother wanted me to do it so bad because she wanted to think the church to think that her grandson had the Holy Spirit. And I
right,
just didn't feel right doing it. And they kept saying, do it, do it. And I just, Lord. And when I did it, they clapped. And I was just like, wow, this is contagion theory. I'm just saying exactly what I heard, and they know they don't know what they're saying, and they
right.
know they're copying it. And I'm like, yo, I got praise for this. I got the big piece of chicken. My grandma made me a coconut and pineapple cake. And I'm like, wow, I
Yeah,
really faked this. And that's when I realized, like, wow, But after that, you know, I got to college and I learned about different religions and stuff. But I got back in the church real heavy, and I was an armor bearer, like security for one of the biggest pastors, like in this area. And one day, me and him were talking, and I was just like, you know, this stuff ain't really real, right? And he was like, yeah, but people
Yeah.
need hope. And that was that aha moment, man. But at this point, man, honestly, I think we need religion as Black people. I think we've gone too far. I think at least we used to be afraid to go to hell so we wouldn't
Right.
murder so fast. You know, I think a lot of these kids and these gangs and the things they're doing, they don't see any type of moral punishment for their actions. So it's like, hey, why not shoot, rob, and steal? So
Right.
I studied all religions. My saying is this: I'm all, yet I'm none. I've studied them all, so I understand how they all go together.
Right.
But I'm none of them. But I still live my life based on the tenets and morals of my religious upbringing.
Got you. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What you're saying though, and I think that that's very important. Like what you said in terms of hope, and the fact is that you're right. There are no deterrents really in terms of that. And I feel like, and I don't know your thoughts on that, which we can get into that later. As far as if punishment were more severe, it would serve as more of a deterrent. And that goes for anyone.
Well, you
And,
know this, brother. Black folks have made our greatest strides when we were in the Black church. You know, all of the
right.
religious leaders come through the Black church.
Right.
All of our strides come through the Black church. Our first colleges were started by churches. You know what I'm saying? So churches get a bad rap because we got a lot of charlatan preachers, but we made our best strides and we were married and we were having
Right.
good families when we had that moral code. So I think we threw the baby out with the bathwater. I think it needs to be taught from a different angle. But you know, as far as a man pardon the sea and immaculate conception, you know what I'm saying? I can't
Right.
get with that, but I understand the esoteric knowledge behind that, and I can
Right.
teach that. That's why my page is actually called, you see, my YouTube is Javon Michael Clark's Aggressive Church. So
Right.
uh I'm trying to get us back into thinking about having a moral compass, man. We gone. We twerking around the kids. We gonna wear hoochie daddy shorts at the family reunion. The kids gonna be looking at the eggplants. We gone, bro.
Right. Right. And that's what I appreciate about your content. I think people appreciate about your channel and your content and your message is that it's more cerebral and no nonsense. And as I tell people who don't know about you, you know, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. I think you were that dude before the advent of Kevin Samuels. You just didn't have that same platform. You had the Facebook platform, but you
Yeah,
had that same message and a little bit, you were, in my opinion, you were direct and more harsh, you know,
yeah,
saying the stuff that you were saying, but people were listening to you at the same, the same rate. So for
yeah,
sure, for people who don't know about Javon, which, like I said, his information is linked in it's obviously, in the title here of the video, but it's linked in the description as well. And for those of you watching on Facebook, it's linked there as well. But that's one thing for sure. Hey, but run those two cakes by just now. You threw it back for some people who don't know. You mentioned was it the Coca-Cola and the pineapple? What was that?
I said I got the big piece of chicken and then I got a pineapple coconut cake.
Yeah,
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 that was the thing. I got my own cake when I eat Honda Bobo shot for.
yeah. Because some people don't know about them cakes you mentioned. That's why I was like,
Oh man.
I wanted you to run that back. So with that being said, those influences, what type of, I know you talked about college, but what type of child were you coming up into, adolescence on into high school?
Everybody know me. I won the storytelling contest every year from kindergarten to ninth grade. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Countywide. I was always intelligent. I was academically gifted in school. I was always a top athlete. You know what I mean? So, but I was a clown. I was silly. I was rebellious. Uh, Started smoking weed in like the fifth grade, rebellious kid, just
Right,
having fun, just being silly. I think my being athletic and smart kind of kept me out of a lot of the trouble that I would have gotten into. Uh
right,
just growing up, I was abused as a child, so I was angry, I was mad. I went from being in the academically gifted classes to they had this program for what were considered the BED, behaviorally and emotionally disturbed
yeah,
kids. And
yeah,
it was like Well, if you act good in school, you get to ride motorbikes and go-karts after school. So it was an incentive for kids with behavioral and emotional problems to behave. And I just was poor and wanted to ride the go-kart. So a teacher referred me to that class, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. And I end up in the class on the back hall, where we ate lunch late. And we
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
cleaned the school up, and it was about 6 or 7 bad boys and a couple of bad girls. And I was like, man, y'all got to get me out of here. I don't want to ride them dirt bikes that bad. So I was that kid that was smart, but always had a smart mouth, black sheep of the family. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I understand. So, what do you think about what? Since you mentioned that, I've always had a feeling or something about children who misbehave. To me, growing up, because I misbehaved too. Obviously, I got into a lot of trouble in high school as well, from middle school on up into high school.
Yeah.
But what do you think about those children? It almost seems like they get treated with special attention, as obviously some would view it as they should be, but they tend to get more positive reinforcement than the average child would get, or they would seem to get rewarded. If I'm
Well,
saying that correctly.
it's just a situation where when you have kids that's coming up in impoverished communities without
Right.
fathers, you know, the gold star or the lollipop is not an incentive for them. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? It's like, you're gonna give me a gold star? What do you mean? A
Right.
lollipop? I mean, you can't incentivize me with that. So it's like, okay, you're such a problem child, for lack of a better word.
Hmm.
If we give you something that we know you would never have access to, would
Right.
you behave for that? So it's good in a way, but it's actually very bad, because these children, there's nothing wrong with the kids. There's something wrong with the teachers. I
Hmm.
have a professional teacher's license. So if you took your Honda to the Honda dealership and these guys are professional Honda workers, you wouldn't expect them to say, well, man, you've been driving your car harder than the regular, man. You on
Right.
the curve. You wouldn't expect a doctor who has a professional doctor's license, medical license, to say, I don't want to help you. I can't help you. You eat a little bit too much. Or you expect a professional to help you. So in the very same way, I expect professional teachers to be able to help children. And that's not the case, because a lot of teachers are in it for the wrong reasons. A lot of them don't understand the kids in the community they work in. A lot of them work in impoverished communities because you get your student aids, and there are incentives from the government to work with poor kids. And but a lot of them are ill-equipped. So I remember when I first started teaching high school freshman English, I had a couple of students say, they put us in your class because we the bad kids. And I said, no, y'all just had bad teachers.
Yeah. Right.
And that's kind of how I endeared them and drew them into me.
Got you. And I was just going to arrive to that. I was just going to get to that. The before we get into that storytelling portion, what exactly is that when you say you won that 4 years, or was it
In
4 years
my
ago?
hometown, we have storytelling contests. So it's like, inspires creativity. It's a small town. We didn't even have a mall. We didn't have a Walmart. So uh be participate in a storytelling contest, it's kind of like a school-wide spelling bee, but
Got you.
kids get together and they tell a story, and from all the middle schools and in that area, and then it's like a county-wide storytelling contest. So I was always telling stories. I got that gift from my great grandfather,
Okay.
who I actually slept in the bed with him. Remember I told you the 4 generations in one house. So he
Right.
used to tell me stories all the time, and I just got that gift to gab. And that's kind of, when I'm talking, I'm always giving a story, because whether you know it or not, you can't learn unless there's a story.
Correct.
And not learn anything unless there's a story. We learn by stories.
Correct. You're absolutely right. So, taking off, did you? So you went to college? Did you play? You said you played sports in college.
Yeah, I played football in college.
Got it. So what was that? What was your experience like? As a young man, where did you go? Where did you go to college at? First of all.
North Carolina Central University, the
Okay.
Eagles. How you fly? I had to shoot that out there.
Absolutely. And what was that? What was that experience like for you?
Man, it shaped me, my formative years. I say our race suffers from arrested development because we didn't get those formative years. Your formative years are from 18 to 24.
Right.
Those are the years that are either going to make or break your life. And I believe, I know college was designed for you to go and be universalized. Uni is one, and versal means versatility.
Right.
So it makes us all one. So those years, man, I had fun. You know, I went to North Carolina Central University. You got Duke right here,
Right.
NC State, UNC Chapel Hill. You know about the Duke Carolina
Yes.
rivalry. So just having fun, man. Having fun, chasing girls, having a good time, man. That's really it. Really, it made me, and it kept me from getting in trouble. And it made me the man I am today. You know, college, when you graduate, they say your university is your alma mater, and that's Latin for alma is second and mater is mother. So your college is your second mother. So it actually made me the man I am today. I would never trade that experience. My oldest son just graduated from my alma mater. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I wanted him to go for that very reason. He wants to be a rapper.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
like, go to school, man. You know, that gives you 4 years to work on your rap career, and you got a dorm room to live in, and you ain't got to worry about selling dope to get studio time. Go to college. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So did you know early on that you wanted to be a teacher, or was that something you just discovered when you were
You
in
know,
college?
ironically, man, I promise I wanted to be a teacher my whole life. Like when I was a kid, like having all these dreams of going to the NFL and NBA and whatnot, I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I wanted to be a teacher because teachers to me were almost perfect. Quick story. I'll never forget. I had a teacher. I missed the school bus one day. I was in the first grade, and she was a beautiful woman, hair done the same every day. Teachers were to me were perfect women and perfect men.
Right.
I didn't
Absolutely.
see those men, type men and women in my family. So I remember Miss Wright, she picked me up and I got in the car, and I'll never forget the song, Look at All These Rumors
Right.
Around Me was playing. And I got so sad before I know that I was crying. And she looked at me and she said, Why are you crying? And I said, I thought teachers only listen to gospel music.
Right.
She just laughed and she said, No, teachers listen to the regular radio. But for me, the teachers looked like the women I saw at church. They didn't curse. Their hair was a certain way. They carried themselves a certain way. And my male teachers, I'll never forget. I had a football coach my freshman year. He was a teacher in my high school, and he was a math teacher. And he was fresh out of college. He drove a BMW. He was the teacher that all of other teachers liked. You know, the rumors going around the
Right.
school.
Right.
And I knew right then. I said, I want to be that guy. I want to be him. So my first year teaching, I went and bought a CLS 550 Benz, and I was that guy. I was knocking off some of the teachers at the
Right.
school like he was too.
Right.
I'm playing, but I wanted to be that guy. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew I always wanted to be a teacher, straight up.
So why English and why high school?
English, because whether you know it or not, to me, English is the easiest subject. I've been speaking English my whole life. All it is reading and writing.
Right.
And I know that English is a subject that you can use those stories to venture out into other subjects. I can't talk to kids about real life in a science class or math class. I kind of got to stay here. But in English, we're reading and discussing stories from such a different scope, so I can make it relevant and we can delve off into conversations about today using a story that we're reading. So English was the easiest thing that I figured that, hey, I can read and write. I can get an English degree. And secondly, I knew that I could have some very interesting and profound conversations with students teaching English as opposed to being stuck to biology, talking about that subject.
Right. So what's your thoughts? Because this is something that, we hear a lot, whether it be on social media, about there being either predominantly male teachers or just more male teachers in general. What's your thoughts on that?
It's going to be hard to get male teachers because number one, it's a glorified mammy job. You know, a lot of people don't realize, they say our sisters go to college more than men, but our counterparts just glorified the mammy position.
Right.
Our women go to school, and I was a glorified mammy, and that's why I got out of it. But just being real, our women go to school. Traditionally, they get social worker degrees,
Right.
nursing degrees, teaching degrees, glorified mammy stuff. It's almost like you don't need a degree. A black woman can go in the house and say, let me see, look at that man. Yeah, he touching them kids. Get them kids out of here.
Right.
Like the things that we do instinctually, they made us go get a college education for. So as a 6'6" black man teaching English, and I'm like, y'all are holding my hands, y'all tying my hands. Y'all won't let me do what I need to do with the children. And then you got so many issues being a man. Now we live in a world where little girls are fresh, they
Right.
ass. Little girl come to your office, you leave your door open, and she talking to you, and before you know it, she done open her legs up with no panties on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as a male teacher, you know, you write it up and you take it to the principal, and he said, well, throw that away, because the second you report it, she's going to say you coerced her or asked her to do it. So like your hands tied in so many ways. But more than anything, man, it's just hard to deal with parents. That's our issue. School, man, think about this, brother. We have this thing against America. At one time, they would have hanged us for learning to read. Now they'll lock you up if your children don't go to school. They'll send a bus to your house. They feed you twice a day. Graduating from high school, it's like an American standard. And our parents are not making it serious enough for our kids to take graduating from high school serious. So I always say, and people get mad at me, if your child don't graduate from high school, you're a horrible parent. You're a horrible parent. What else is it for you to make your child do? Go to school, baby, and graduate.
Right.
Hey, you can't facilitate you can't facilitate that. You're horrible.
Sheesh. So how many years were you teaching?
I taught high school 7 years. And then I recently, after I had my daughter, you know, wanting to get health insurance, I went back after COVID. And once I seen what COVID had did to the schools, COVID separated the schools, resegregated the schools in a sense of after 2 years of at-home computer learning, the kids who are advanced, whose parents care about education anyway, they was like, hey, ain't no need to go back. You on this computer, you learning. But the kids whose parents wanted them out of the house, sent them back to school. So now the schools are just filled with lower class people. All the people, it ain't about race. All the people with money, they just look, we used to that staying home now. We didn't got adjusted. We can get better grades. They didn't learn how to work the system now. So it's like after I went back for COVID, it's sad to say I went back from the beginning of the school year and I quit on my birthday. December.
How long was that?
From August,
3 months,
September, October, November. Yeah, about 3 months total.
Yeah, and how long was your hiatus? Like, so you said 7 years. And how long was your break?
I stopped teaching for about 9 or 10 years.
Got you.
Yeah. And just started talking on social media. That's why I called myself the master teacher on social media, because I realized it'll be better to reach our parents. Our race has a parenting problem. We don't have a white man problem. We don't have a music problem. We don't have an entertainment problem. We have a parenting problem. And it starts with how we make children. You know what I'm saying? We make babies willy-nilly, haphazardly. So that's the first thing we need to do is address the parenting problem. And if people going to keep making babies, then we need to address co-parenting. But that's a whole nother subject. But that's what's wrong with the school. It's not the teachers. You know, man, they put so much money in the school. They're doing everything to educate our kids, man. It's parents. It's parents. It's the cell phone. I can call my mom in the middle of class and say, hey, I don't like my teaching. The mama said, well, just step out. You ain't got to deal with that.
Right.
The dad is not present, or the dad will condone the behavior. So that's why I had to get out of the school, man.
Yeah.
Now I got a new daughter. I'm like, it'll be who's the best student than me to homeschool my own child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you what was the reason, but you just summed it up.
Yeah.
You know why? And I guess this second time you just said why. 3 months. I don't know what inspired you to go back though. Was it just your daughter?
Yeah, health insurance, man.
Health insurance. You just said,
I got a new daughter, health insurance. Like, okay, you can make money through it being an influencer in the business and stuff I'm into, but let's get this health insurance. And got in there and just was like, my daughter ain't sneezed the first 3 months. I said, well, gonna manifest health for her. You know what I mean?
Right. So growing up, I know you mentioned your was it your great grandfather or your grandfather? Who else were your influences growing up, whether it was local or just in the media or Black leaders? Who were your influences growing up?
Martin Luther King. I learned about Martin Luther King so much. I mean, you got to be a tough man to let somebody beat you and go to
Right.
jail. You know what I'm saying? So people look like he was this weak, nonviolent man. He was a very smart, strategic man.
Mm.
A situation where we're getting beat and hung in the South and no one cares. So he said, hey, look, let's take the women and children out and let's just march and sing. And when they whoop us and beat us on TV, then the world will know how bad it is down here. So Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali,
Mm.
my uncles, you know what I mean? My uncles were alcoholics, but they were men's men.
Right.
You know I mean, they didn't play, you know what I'm saying? They supervised me. I know that I would have gotten into the streets if it weren't for my uncles. Guys that, people don't realize the people that get into the streets are the kids that don't play basketball, they don't play football, they aren't in the band, they aren't doing anything extracurricular. So when you turn 7th grade, that's when you can stay after school and do extracurricular stuff. So you're 13. So the drug dealers and the pimps are looking at the little kids like, okay, it's 3:30, you home. Are your parents concerned? So I know a lot of stuff that I didn't get into because folks were scared of my uncles. Like if I would have went to the dope boy and said, give me a pack, he'd have said, no, man, your uncle alcoholic, he crazy, he'll kill me behind you.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? My mama would have killed somebody behind or called the police. So we don't understand that the people that hit the streets, those were the unsupervised victims of society.
Right.
That's what we do. We make a teenage pregnancy. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Or I got locked up. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. No, it's not, brother. You were a victim. It's no different than a pimp finding a little girl and getting her to sell her body. The man looked up. He said, who that little nigga over there? Excuse me. Who that little boy over there? He don't play ball. He don't do nothing. Where's mom at? I can get him a pack. Let him hold a gun. And we brag on that. We don't realize that, like, we should be saying, hey, man, I got with Junebug when I was 12 years old. He gave me some dope, turned me on to the game and ruined my life. But we call him our OG.
Right.
Because we don't want to acknowledge what happened. And that's what I talk about. And that's why people get mad.
Exactly.
That's why some people tune in.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember when I think you were heavy on that exact same topic for like a week. And I know people were getting upset because you were talking about the guys that are idolized in the streets were exactly what you said, were the unsupervised, couldn't play sports.
Couldn't play no ball. They mama's boys. They knew their mama would get them out of jail. Those guys were the guys that we know if we go to their house, she'll give everybody a different ice pop. They had all the cereal. The mama basically was babying them to keep them from going to the streets. So she bought them all the nice shoes and everything. And by the time they turned 14 and got a mustache, started looking like their daddy and won't doing well in school, she said, well, I ain't buying you nothing else. And he said, well, all I am is these clothes. All I am is these shoes. I got to sell some dope. So he went and got him a pack. Those guys are victims, man. Real men make it through life without a criminal record. Real men do right. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to change. You know, of course, it's like a saying, people that lose all the time say, winning ain't everything. Broke people say money ain't everything.
Right.
Women that are single said being single is happy. We have ways of hiding who we truly are. It's like, of course, you're going to tattoo Southside on your arm, my project. You have no skills, no communication skills. You don't have anything to function anywhere in society outside of Southside. So that's why you say, I live or I die Southside. Of course you live and die Southside. You dropped out of school at a certain age. You have felonies. The girls don't like you on the other side of town. The ops gonna get you if you go to the other side of town. So of course, yeah, put Southside. Hey man, you are weak and you don't have what it takes to make it out of Southside. So what man is going to say that? What man gonna say that?
You're right. You're right. But I think it takes somebody like you to actually say it for them to reflect.
Yeah.
On those type of things and actually it register, but I guess that's what upsets people, what draws them in.
They know this, man. It's like I'm sitting here. I don't have any gold chains and stuff. Not that I'm against it. Look, man, I got a trophy room, man. I got a trophy room. You go to my high school, it's pictures of me in the trophy case, man. I got trophies. I don't need no trophy. I don't need a trophy woman, man. I got trophies, man.
Right.
If you ain't never had no trophies or had no accomplishment, yeah, you got to floss and shine and break your neck and risk your life and risk your freedom to look like you got something. But I don't buy that, man. And it's
Mhm.
actually sad that these guys have been leading our society and setting the trends for our culture. You know, watching Drink Champs, man, side note, we're starting to see that all the rappers we looked up to said, man, I had a bad contract. I won't make no money. I was broke. And I'm like, really? You had me out here wanting to be like you when you ain't had no money, man?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Just taking, just going for it. The mentorship you would think is there that we want to emulate, but things aren't what they seem at the end of the day, for sure. So you mentioned women just now. So at what did you get married while you were teaching? Did you meet your wife while you were teaching?
I met my wife when I was right about graduating. I was in
Oh,
grad school about to graduate. You know what I mean? And I met my wife, and she had a hair salon. Very popular salon, her and two of her friends,
mhm.
downtown Durham, Valet Park, and all their clients were upper echelon, you know, doctors, lawyers. Like they pride themselves and they didn't do ratchet hair.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because from my understanding, they're still into natural, right? Your wife's still into all natural?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Once that actually why she had the rift and she stopped working with her business partners, because as my social media fame got to grow, I started to speak about our women are in competition with each other for accessories.
Right.
Like accessories show you that, girl, if I'm out here looking good, that lets you feel like that I'm not struggling and upset being a single mother. It's like
Mm.
I can show you that I'm just as desirable as you. So when I looked up at my wife one day, I said, hey, look, you got to go natural and you got to take the makeup. I'm getting older. I just
Right.
don't like it. You know what I mean? And when she was like, okay, as long as you love it, you know what I'm saying? And as I start speaking on it, it started to be bad for their business. You know what I'm saying? They in there doing hair, putting weave in folks' hair. And I made one comment one day on a live. I was like, if you really think about it, a hairdresser will put what's called a base on your hair. You know,
Mm.
the slick stuff. And
Right.
that's the base. But a base is to counteract an acid.
Correct.
And the hairdresser will put on a mask and put on gloves
Right.
and then rub it in your scalp. And when I said that, it was like a video, it went viral, and her business partner was like, hey, you know, women and people like, oh, girl, you know, you do got on gloves. Why I can't get on your hands and you put it on my scalp? You know what I mean?
But
And
it's
that's
funny, it
why,
takes a video to do that. Something that you can't put on your skin, you'll put it on your scalp. You know what I mean? But I don't know why. Like you said, it takes somebody like you to say something for somebody to be like, man, I
you
never
never
thought of
really
that.
think about it.
Right.
You just don't think about it because you want to look a certain way. That's our biggest problem, man. We want to look pageantry. You know,
Mhm.
that's why the Egyptians got conquered. Instead of having an armor, they should have had an armor. They was building
Correct.
pyramids and dancing and rocking gold. Uh, Greeks come in and take everything.
Right.
We love to floss, man. We love to floss now.
I'm not allowed.
It's
I'm
just
thinking
in
about
us,
some
bro.
stories that you. I'm thinking about some stories that you say that
Hey,
I
you
think you
know me,
mentioned.
bro. We
I'm
love to floss. We love it.
I'm bringing this one up because I remember you saying this, and I just want to get your thoughts on it since you mentioned that about the Egyptians and the Greeks. You mentioned something about in Africa, and I know you were just giving a generalization because we all know Africa is big, but
Yeah,
being that the trade started in Western Africa, you saying that obviously what's the term, the colonizer
yeah.
came into Africa and was like, whose fruit? I think correct me if I'm wrong. You said, whose fruit is this? And you like, this
Mhm.
is the fruit is for us. We got plenty of fruit. And then
Yeah.
they were like, coming from a place of scarcity, they're like, well, let me gather some of this fruit. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And they keep coming in, and before you know it, everybody, not to say it's conquered or whatever, but before you know it, everything's in shambles for the most part, and you just
Well, let
take
me
it
ask you
and
this,
quit.
brother. If right now, if aliens came to Earth and
Right,
they said, we want to talk to the black race, we're aliens, speed nine mate space modulator, Marvin the
right.
Martian came to Earth and he said, we want to talk to black folks, right? And he said,
someone has to die, someone has to be sacrificed of the black race. Who we gonna give them? You know we gonna give them gangbangers and them killers and them lowlifes.
Right.
We're not gonna give them the cream of the crop. So what we don't understand, part of why we're weak in America and never revolted, is, think about this. The first slaves were dropped off in the Haiti and in the Caribbean. They had so many revolts because they was the best slaves. The longer you sell slaves, you got to start selling your weak, dumb slaves. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's going to sell the strongest or the most intelligent. So right now, if Mark Carson said, Javon, you're the spokesman for the black race, who can I have? I'm saying, man, you can have them Bloods and Crips. I'll bring them to you.
Right.
These are the most violent, uneducated. These are the ones, hey, and it's some women you can have too now. It's some projects you can have too. So let's just be real. If we had to throw somebody away right now, we ain't going to get our college educated, strong-minded people that's working hard every day. We're going to get the ones that we consider the low life. So they sold the low lives.
Right.
That's what we don't understand. We were the weakest. I got a joke. I said we were the slow Africans that they used to say, y'all go down there and play by the water every day. Just don't go in the water. They know we won't gonna get in the water. And the boat pulled up one day and said, what y'all doing down there? We said, we playing. And they said, y'all want to go on a trip? And we hopped on the boat. That's what we don't realize.
Right.
We were kings and queens in Africa. No, everybody want a king and a queen in Africa. You can
I remember you saying that.
King. You don't have one king, man.
Right.
Now, how many nations is this? A king for every nation, a king for every tribe. Do you think the kings got sent over here?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we can go deep into that. That's why I just figured I'd bring that up because I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Talking points, because I know that's a deep discussion that, that we just think that it's just people just came in and took everybody and it wasn't no fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's
side note. Yeah. I don't think we should discuss history at all. At all. It's what keeps us bound. It shows us our ascribed place in society.
Right.
We shouldn't be discussing it at all.
Right. I understand. So let's switch it up real quick though. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got the master teacher, Javon Clark. If you guys are just now joining in, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button right now. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Also, make sure you subscribe to Javon's channel. He's the one that's linked in the title and also in the description. Subscribe to both. With that being said, so Javon, you say you met your wife when you were transitioning, just when you were in graduate school.
Yeah.
I remember, and I'm just bringing. I know we talked about this offline because I think it's very interesting how you met your wife.
Yeah.
So when you met her, I remember you saying something about, I don't know if it was the first date or when you first saw her, you already knew that you wanted her to be your wife. Can you break that down for us, for everybody that's watching? How did you know?
Well, every man know. You knew yours. Are you married?
No, I'm divorced.
Okay, but when you got married, you knew when you picked her, didn't you?
I was a child, so I'll just say that. But I get what you're saying. I was a child. Yeah,
you knew. See, men, we know. We just know. It don't take all that. We know when we know. And when I met her at church, and I had did a play with her. I had wrote a play with her, and I just liked her. I just knew she had the right swag. The church we was going to, the pastor, he was a man's man, so I know she was receiving the right information about men and women relationships. And one day I just walked up to her and I was like, "Yo, you supposed to be my wife?" And she was like, "Really?" I said, "But you don't want to mess with Eddie Kane," like joking. She said, "What you mean?" I said, "I'm never going to sleep with just one woman." I had been married before. So I understood. Yeah. When I had met her, I had been married before.
Okay.
So I told her, I said, "I'm never going to sleep with one woman." She was like, "Wow." She was like, "We can work something out." I said, "Well, look, I don't know what you mean." I said, "You got an instant husband and an instant father for your children. I know you the wife type. I know my pastor, for lack of a better word, had brainwashed her." So I knew, but as a man, I knew infidelity, sex and money is what tears relationships up anyway.
Correct.
So if you can get that down, side note, smirk, sex, money,
intangibles, religion, and kids. That's what you need to discuss. Instead of meeting a man or a woman, smiling at them, you need to smirk. You need to discuss sex. How freaky are we gonna be? How much head we gonna give? Do you like getting hit from the back? Money, who gonna spend the money? Do your old child support? What your credit is? Intangibles. Can my mama move in if she gets sick? Religion. What's our spirituality, and how we gonna raise our kids?
Right.
So she came up under that teaching. So I knew. So when I told her, look, you got an instant father, and I told her the real. I said, but you got 2 sons, and they soft. They was soft little boys. You know how a little boy be soft without a daddy.
I know, for sure.
I was like, I'm going to pick them up from school tomorrow and mentor them. Over to the school, and I'm gonna mentor them. And the relationship that I establish with your children will determine if we can go together. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, cool. And I picked them up the next day, and she was like, look, if this don't work out, my children need a mentor. She wrote me a check for $1,200. She said, I ain't gonna, you they mentor. She said, we can date, but you they mentor. You gonna get your money. And that endeared me to her, because she was really concerned about her children,
right,
growing up soft. And from there, we talked about life and how we're going to do this thing with sex and going into an open relationship. And she liked newness, I like newness. We both Sagittarians, and one thing I can't do is be new to her, and one thing she can't do is be new to me. And we know humans like newness. So we talked about it, and I mentored the boys about 7-8 months. And once I saw it could work, we flew to Jamaica with all our friends, got married, came back to America, and I moved my stuff in her place. And it's been wonderful ever since. You know what I mean?
You said that was 7 months?
Yeah, 7 months.
Gotcha.
It don't take a long time, man.
Right. So what made you? So you were married previously?
Yeah.
I don't know what the time difference between that.
When I broke up with my first wife, I met Chris about 3 weeks later. Then we got married 7 months later.
So you knew already within that time frame of beforehand. You kind of already knew. Like
yeah. I mean, I didn't know. I just know as a man that as a man, I'm gonna want a wife.
Right.
As a man, I'm gonna want a woman, whether it's a girlfriend or whatever. But I just look at it like that's my wife. As a man, I think we need responsibility, children, wives, or some type of provision. That's the problem I have in the Black community. We got so many brothers that are conscious leaders who, if the Black woman is God, you don't want God sleeping next to you. Right. That's not shaming nobody that's single. I'm just saying, like, I just believe that as a man, I was gonna have a wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And put it like this, bro. I'm like my granddad in them. Like I told her, I'm not just gonna sleep with you, so it won't for sex. It was for what a wife is, the duties of a wife, the duties of a husband. That's the problem in our community, man. I believe in duty, not love. You know what I'm saying? Duty is more powerful than love. We got the word love confused. Love ain't even a real thing.
No, I dig it. I think that's been, I wouldn't, even though you still young, I think you speak from an elder standpoint that definitely that's something that was preached in terms of, love is something. It is something that's intangible, but the responsibility you have to your family, as you say, and the duty and making sure that everything is straight. As you said, I'm sleeping next to God, but I can't marry her. You know what I'm saying? And I think
I don't even want to sleep next to one. And just a side note, I'm 45, so I ain't that young. I just want to. That's just for any ladies looking. I'm a handsome older guy, to keep myself up. I'm
right. Brother
Javon, Grandma and Grandpa stayed together out of duty, and they willed the land to the kids. And now we, you know what I'm saying? It's duty. Duty. I mean, love, that head over heels feeling fades over time anyway.
Absolutely.
So I believe in duty, brother.
Absolutely. So you said, because this is a term a subject that's talked about in this space. So you said when you met your wife, she already had kids. What do you have to say to those guys, or a lot of guys in this space, who say that if a man doesn't have kids, he shouldn't get with a woman that already has kids and being a stepfather? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think every man has his own opinion of what he think he's capable of doing or not doing. However, I've heard some men say that if you do it, you're lame. Meaning
Right.
they frown upon it, even if they're capable of doing it. I just think that's some high value man simp talk, man. Because at the end of the day, man, as men, we like to separate ourselves from men. That's a term that became like high value man. You're only valuable to the woman who eyes you in. And to
Right.
me, high value men always get girt for money. They just get a little money at a certain age and they end up losing their wife and children. You know what I'm saying? But I think that became known as a simp or a saying it's just something somebody want to say to shame and make women feel bad. Because at the end of the day, I'm a man. And if my job is to be responsible for a community, I got 7, 8 boys I raised and was raising before I got with my wife. So I'm a product of somebody else's father letting me work for them during the summer, getting on the back of their truck, riding the football and basketball practice.
Right.
I'm a product of men who were for the village. So I would raise kids anyway. So how much more would I raise 2 boys for a woman that I'm smashing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Think about this, bro. If you ain't picking no boys up, taking them to football practice with your children, or taking no little girls with your children, if you ain't doing something for the community, where's your manhood at anyway? So for me to be out here with a van or a truck, taking 6, 7 kids with me before I had kids, now I'm smashing this woman and she taking care of my life.
Right.
Oh man, that's just a saying. And now my wife raised my daughter. That's just a saying, man. You know, and even a lot of men say that because they can't get along with other men. They don't have communication skills. They worried about the baby daddy. Hey man, you quarterback the situation. You the man in the house. You quarterback the situation, man.
Right.
Men back in the day, it won't no DNA tests. That's why the saying, mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Right.
That's why men back in the day just took care of all the kids, because that might be your nephew or your cousin. That might be your brother's kid. You don't know. I just think that's talk of some angry men who was lames in high school, lames in college. They done made a little money, and now they call revenge effing. Now that they got a little money, they want to say, single mother, you got kids, this, that, and the other, you got kids. And no, bro, that's just talk.
Right.
Now, you know that you're the type of man that you don't want to deal with a baby dad and you don't have the communication skills, that's different. But for saying that it's crazy or some simp stuff, come on, man. I'm a super dude, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to benefit off all the children I've raised that aren't mine. I got 3 goddaughters, man. You know what I mean? So come on now.
I remember since you were talking about, back then, because I remember, and I'm gonna bring this up.
Yeah.
How there wasn't no DNA test back in the day, so you really didn't know, like you said, what is it? Mama's baby daddy. What is it? What was it again?
Mama's baby, daddy's
Daddy's
baby.
baby, yeah.
It came out of mama. That may be daddy. You don't know that.
Yeah. Because you brought up the color purple with when Mr. was like, I can vouch for. I remember you said that when Mr. was like, I can vouch for all of Sugar Avery kids or whatever. I remember you saying that. He was like, what does he talk about? How you go vouch for Sugar Avery?
Not unless all of them his.
Yeah.
Not unless he think all of them his, and he still can't vouch back then.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, because I figured I'd ask you that because I think from someone like yourself to take on that responsibility, you'd be the perfect person to speak on that. And because I think there's something flawed in that thought process, especially if you don't have your shit together. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking in that manner.
Man, these are men that say this are men that already done had their kids and half their fortune taken from them. This is bitter talk, man.
Yeah.
This is bitter talk. As not jumping. My daughter's not by my wife.
Right.
And when she came out of her mother, me and my wife picked her mother. And when she came out of her mother, she came home with me. See, it's a difference, man. Masculinity is different. Hey, Jay-Z can't take his kids. Kanye West crying about his kids.
Right.
My kid come home with me. See, this is what we don't understand. And this is a note to women about science and biology. Them kids was a girl or a boy swimming in my balls.
That's right.
I shot that girl out of my balls into your womb, and it took over your body. Now,
Right.
before abortions, that was an alien thing in your body you couldn't do nothing about, and it took over your life force. My sperm came in you, attached to your body, took over your life force, and drew from you. When that baby come out, that ain't your baby, sweetheart. That's my baby.
That's right.
The problem is a lot of men need to speak up and stand up. And I try to tell sisters, the problem is you want to make the baby yours, so the men say, and leave you with the baby. I tell sisters that I counsel in my one-on-ones, look, this is what you do. Go to that man and say, hey, here go your baby.
Right.
Me, this yourself. You shot this in me. Now take it. That man is like, ho, before you give it to me, can we talk some out?
Yeah.
Can we get mediation? How much I got to give you a month? How many days I got to pay you? How many days I got to come? Because that man, the last thing he wants is you to get him that baby.
Right.
So a woman taking the baby, and my baby. Well, take it by your damn self.
Right.
Go to that man and say, hey, we may not be together, but I had this for you. This yours.
Facts.
That man will do right by you. Foolish, don't want to listen to no grown man. Let me just say this real quick, brother. This is when the spirit take over.
Go ahead now. Yeah.
Let me say this real quick, brother. The white man says that being a mother, cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, and raising kids says you get half. So the bag is really being a wife. You get half. You get half. What I'm saying in our community, our women, us as men grew up with female matriarchs,
right?
Grandmas, aunties. It ain't been no shortage of black women raising children. It's been a shortage of fathers. So me and JR and every other man out here know what a hoochie is, a tramp is. We know what a good woman is. Our grandmas and our aunties and mamas didn't explain it to us.
Right.
So when we go out here looking, we know exactly what we looking for. Y'all didn't have the men around. The only advice y'all gonna get is from me and JR. Because we the ones that care. Now, it take a woman to mess with 10, 12 lowlifes before she know what a lowlife is.
Right.
So the advice that we're giving is advice that you've never gotten.
Correct.
You don't have a clue as a woman what a good man is. Our grandma told us what a tramp stamp was. When I seen you with the strawberry on your neck, I know how to treat you. I know how to treat you, strawberry neck, lion coming out your chest. I know how to treat you, pit bull balls on your chest.
Yeah. Sheesh. I mean, this is I hope y'all listening to Javon right now. I mean,
I ain't mean to go off on a tangent.
No. You
like I
good.
said, the Holy Spirit. That's that Honda Robo Shy taking over, bro.
Yeah. You did a video which I was gonna. It's still in my files, which I was gonna do commentary on, where you kind of talk about something like this on the men's side, where you say you guys who have issues with your baby mamas, you know, that you just don't know how to talk to her. You saying, I think, say again?
Weak men. Yeah,
you're saying that they're more into arguing, and instead of don't know how to talk to your baby mom. If you just knew how to, offer the olive branch and basically just try to be there as a man. And I was just like, you know what? He's even though that's my thought process, you try to be diplomatic instead of coming, trying to have an arguing contest and being more feminine than her.
Well, let me say this as the woman whisperer. Let me put you in the woman's head for a minute.
Right.
When a man has sex with a woman raw, they may have not talked about it.
Right.
But when she go to that man and say, I'm pregnant, the first thing he say is it mine or what you gonna do? If he don't accept that baby is his, what he's told her is you a whore or you don't know how to count your ovulation.
Right.
Either way, you wrong. So I tell men, first of all, go to the doctor with her. Even if it ain't yours, go to the doctor with her. That way, go to the doctor, do right during the pregnancy. That way, when the baby come, take your blood test. If it's yours, she ain't got no animosity. If it ain't yours, move on.
Right.
Now, imagine this woman having this baby in the hospital by herself, have to go home by herself.
Right.
You ain't nobody around, and you got your mama looking at the baby ears on Facebook ghetto DNA test.
Yeah,
your mama, she look like me. And now all of a sudden, you want to come around. You need to apologize to this woman. Now, women, this is where I'm on y'all side. I don't have no side, but this is what I'm trying to tell you. Empathizing with y'all. A woman that's had a child, she know the man might not be there. And the only time a woman feel the man's absence is when times of the world where she can't provide. Now, let me be real with you. And I want to ask the women watching a question. Christmas, birthdays, school clothes, and maybe Easter. If a man would go to his baby mom and say, look, I'm sorry, I know I ain't been doing right. Look, I'm going to take care of Christmas, school clothes, birthday, and Easter. I'm going to give you $500 4 times a year. That woman will say, you know what? I ain't got no beef with you. The only time that woman feel the presence is when she look at her child and can't pay for that field trip. That's when she get bitter. Absolutely. When she look at that child and that child can't get Christmas. Anytime other that, single mothers dress their kids up and make them look good to show you that they don't need the man.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is, as a woman, you didn't sit here and dealt with that. Now this man want to come in when the little boy ready to go to the barbershop. I tell these brothers, look at here, bro. You can command the streets. You're a street general, but you can't talk to Keisha. So you can't pull your pistol out on your baby mama and pistol whip your baby mama. You got to communicate. You got to talk that out. You got to be humble. Get that woman some money and go on by there and pick your child up. It ain't that hard. It's really not that hard. What it is the same way single mothers glory in single mothers. It's almost like being a single mother. Hey, look, what are you besides that? It's a glory attached to it. It's a glory. So some of them don't want no help from the man, because if the man help them, it removes their glory. In the very same way, some of these brothers don't want to be in these kids' lives. They just talk about it on social media. They just talk about their baby mama because they know the real men look at you like you a low life, man.
Right.
Grown out here, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to go downtown and go to court. It's 2 things that establish paternity in your child's life. And I know this from watching my daughter born. I signed the birth certificate, and the lady said, you know, you can take this baby home with you if you want to. I said, I am. Number 2, think about this. We don't look at words. An illegitimate child is an illegal baby. You had a baby and you won't marry, your baby illegal. Only way you can make your baby legal is go down to the courthouse and sign yourself up for child support and sign the birth certificate. Otherwise, you got a legal baby. Why you think they call it illegitimate? We crazy, man. We crazy, bro. You can command the streets, but you can't talk to Keisha.
Right.
I got a homeboy, and he'll tell you, he'll speak up, you know what I'm saying? And he could be watching. One day I told him, I said, man, get that girl some money. Ask her how much money she want. What you mean? I said, tell her you want your daughter and you'll pay her child support. Why would I do that? Because you want your daughter, don't you? Yeah. Well, why would I give her? What if she get her hair done? So what? So what? You'd have to pay for a babysitter. Right. Why are you worried about what the woman do with the money?
Right.
She done spent her other money on here. Yeah, the money that she get your reefer, baby. You get you a massage, get your hair and nail done. You need something to pamper yourself. Spend it how you want to. You ain't giving but $700-800 anyway. If you was there living, come on, man. You would have to pay for your rent. Come on, man. Get out of here with that crybaby stuff, man. That's crybaby talk, man. That's low life talk.
Right. I remember you talking about, I think that was the story you was telling. So you also mentioned, I believe, in this aspect on this subject, you mentioned, I think it was your grandfather you was talking about. Yeah. What was the situation? You was like, he had it down to a science or something you were saying like that, where he was able to manage without any issues from any women.
Real men. You take a chicken to each house, drop some bread off at each house. Tell the truth. That's what you do.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Yeah.
The problem is, brother, these brothers ain't dropping no chickens off nowhere. Right. These brothers can't tell the truth because they've been tricked. Like I said, back in the day, a man can drop off some chicken, some bread, some clothes from Walmart. Now a man feels shame. What you doing with them Spider-Man shoes? He said that's his favorite character, baby.
Right, exactly.
No, buy him some Jordans. He don't even know who Jordan is. Don't come around here unless you got. So we've been shamed into not doing the things that regular daddies do. I grew up in a household where my sister's fathers would come down on a Friday night to see his daughter and would bring some chips for the other kids,
right,
for us, and my mama in the back chilling with her boyfriend.
Exactly.
The new boyfriend might play cards, man. Ain't nobody worry about who hitting that coochie now, man. You know, I see stuff on social media where men are doing stuff like only buying their child a gift.
Right.
Only buying their child a pizza. Well, when you leave, they just gonna beat your child up.
Exactly.
The child gonna have a tough life. So I'm a product of my sisters and brothers' fathers throwing me a little change or taking me with them to the fair. Hey, man, do you care about how kids feel? That's what's wrong with it. We don't care about how kids feel.
Right.
A kid in the grocery store crying because they in the cereal aisle. You know they put all the colorful cereal on the bottom where kids short and can see it.
Yep.
They put the grown folks stuff off top. You ain't looking down for no young folk. When you get ready to check out, they got the candy and chips for your kid too. Say, mama, can I have this? Black folks are looking. Won't she beat that child crying? That's a child crying over candy. You think they should get beat or fussed at for that?
Right.
We foolish, man. We foolish, man. Literally will get mad. She need to shut that baby up crying. The baby crying over the cereal aisle, man. Come on now. Stop. It's like we've lost everything that makes us human.
Mm. Damn.
So my granddaddy, he just took a couple of chickens and did the right thing.
Right.
He did right by all his women. He told them the truth. Some women liked him because he had an old big ding-a-ling. Some women liked him because he was handsome. It didn't matter.
Right.
But the ones that liked him for big ding-a-ling, he told I'm ding-a-linging that woman too. But when he came by, he dropped some off for all the kids, man.
Right.
Man, women ain't really that. Man, folks think, man, women ain't worried about nothing but provision. Folks think women are worried about all that stuff. Women worried about your ding-a-ling when that's all you got is ding-a-ling to give them.
Right.
Yeah, she ain't worried about your ding-a-ling and you paying them bills and picking them kids up, taking them to the barbershop and all that stuff. You ever heard a woman say, I keep my kids and my men separate? You ever heard that?
Yeah, all the time.
That's a ding-a-ling man.
Right.
That means she don't trust him around her kids. He wouldn't pick them up. He's a lowlife and wouldn't do nothing. So he's a ding-a-ling man. So she wants to know where that ding-a-ling at all the time because that's all he's worthy of giving me. See, I don't worry about what my wife do. She do too much stuff for me. Sex is on the bottom of the totem pole, man.
I remember you saying that. Yeah,
it's on the bottom of the totem pole. Think about it. We could all get sick. We had stroke age. We unhealthy, not living right. You mess around and get sick, your mama gonna take you in. I need a mate at this age. I need somebody that's gonna wipe my ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I need somebody that's gonna be there for the long run.
Absolutely.
Sex, man, take that coochie somewhere else out my face. I don't want it but once a month unless you ovulating anyway.
Hey, I understand. Hey, but question though. So you mentioned something I think is very important that, you know, from someone from your perspective, because you said when you first met your wife, you told her, hey, this is the situation, so on and so forth. And you said your daughter is actually by someone other than your wife.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you're currently in a polygamous situation, or was that just for your daughter?
Yeah. I'm a polygamist. I believe in polygamy.
Okay.
My second wife, Lynn, shout out to Sunny Bunny. She moved in probably about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Probably about 4 months ago, she went to Texas. Her parents got sick.
Okay.
So she's down there taking care of them. But yeah, we all lived in the house together. You know what I'm saying? Sister wives, no problem. But my daughter is not by her either. Me and my wife chose a mother for my daughter because think of it like this, bro. She tied her tubes when she was young. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right.
That ain't my fault. Now I want to be your husband. I like you. I want to be with you. But just because you tied your tubes, she said, well, one day we can untie them or try in vitro or something. I said, yeah, but what if we ain't got the money at the time?
Right.
So she said, well, I'm willing to. Let's think about this, bro. How many men out here are taking care of children that are not theirs or in relationship with women that have kids? They don't want to have any more kids or can't have any more kids. And this woman is sitting here, don't want this man to reincarnate himself through procreation. See, I waited to have my child. I told my wife when I said, well, look, we'll raise your sons and
when your youngest son move out and graduate, we'll have me a baby. I had brothers, friends, and family members say, man, don't you do that. That woman gonna do this. That woman can just abandon you after you raise her kids. Do your meat work? You shooting tater water? Why you ain't got no kids? And I'm like, hey, y'all accidentally had them kids. Y'all ain't want them babies. I waited. So with me waiting and the decisions I made and waiting, that's why my daughter lives with me. Come home to me. Her mother called me and said, hey, can I see her? I said, yeah, come get her. It's different. And Kanye West can't do that. It's about the choices and the decisions you make in life. So my daughter is by a woman that my wife and my other wife chose that they could get along with. Yeah, definitely.
So what's your thoughts? I know you said you're pro polygamy. For the fellas for the men out there, because it obviously this has become a popular topic as of late.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on pretty much a lot of men thinking that it's something that every man should be able to do, or that it's just that easy, or it's like they're entitled to do it?
Well, it's not easy and no one's entitled, but you know, the Bible in Isaiah 4:1, if you have some mediator, somebody, the Bible saying Isaiah 4:1, in the last days, 7 women will run to 1 man. And these 7 women are going to say, we got our own food, clothing, and shelter. Only let me be called by your name to take away my reproach.
Right.
So the Bible is a book that's written. It's prophecy. It's predicted. But the folks that wrote it, knew it was going to get like this. So now you got 7 to 1. These women got their own jobs, own houses, cars, and everything. All they need is a man. And they want to be called by a man's name. That's why a woman has no problem saying, I'm the side woman now. Back in the day. So now, especially with COVID, these guys you messing with wouldn't come cut your grass, wouldn't change your tire. So what I'm saying is polygamy is going to be the way, because we have a generation of women who are not going to have a man. So these women are already polygamous. Now, peep this. Just follow me.
No, you good.
You got a baby daddy. You got 2 baby daddies. He got 2 baby mamas. Why don't y'all come together and figure this thing out? They make it into a sex situation. It's communal living. It's a family orientation. It is not a sexual orientation. So I'm all for saying, hey, all y'all single mothers, the nurses and the teachers and stuff, won't y'all get together and buy a house and live together and raise y'all kids together? So my thing is this, where I came up with the idea when I was coaching football. I'm coaching 8, 9, well, I'm coaching a team, but I got 8, 9 little boys I'm picking up in my van. All the mothers trying to give me some coochie. And I'm hard on a woman. I say, hey, stop trying to give me some coochie and give me $5 of gas. Give me some money to get some bread. Let me get your food stamp card. I got these boys in my house feeding them. And that's when I realized, I said, man, I could be the daddy to all these boys.
Right.
And that's when it came alive. That's what we're going to have to get to, because what's going to happen is all of these women in their 40s in 10, 15 years, they're going to be golden girls.
Right.
Living in the house like Blanche and them. So polygamy is going to be the way for survival. So that it's going to happen regardless if men are prepared or not. It's just going to happen. Now, as a person who was married 12, 13 years and moved the second woman into the house, women will always say it's for sex. It's for sex. So people think that, hey, man, let me tell you something. 3 women can't handle my sex drive. Women don't like no big meat, and women don't want to be sexed all the time. Women have sex with their man to keep them from cheating, because they think if he don't get some every 3 days, he gonna run on the outside.
Right.
So when we get into the realness of it, women are like animals, man. They ovulating. If a woman ain't ovulating in nature, a man won't look at her. He go find another woman.
Right.
So women are like animals, but when they're ovulating, they attack a man. You better give me some.
Right.
I can't help this. So it's a family structure. It's, hey, listen, I tell women all the time and men, hey, me and my wife had an open relationship. Why would I move another woman in to take care?
Correct.
My wife can tell you that moving the other woman in made our relationship better, because you got 2 women that can bounce off each other. You got another woman can say, yeah, I was acting like that yesterday. You got another woman in here. Right. Man, it gets cheap. 2 women, they like little girls, and they do each other's hair, they do each other's nails.
One of them do all the cooking and cleaning. One of them do this, and I'm the man doing what I do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a family structure. You remember Three's Company?
Absolutely.
Hey man, Jack Roper was living in the house with 2 women, won't even having sex with him. What's wrong with us? Why are we so perverted?
I guess we make it seem like it's something new. You know what I'm saying? It's I think social media obviously brought it to light. I know TV was a social media. Was it Jack Tripper?
Yeah, Jack Tripper.
Yeah, Jack Tripper was, we had that on television, but now you got all these different channels and pages dedicated to poly, so on and so forth. But I think that's why, because there's so many eyes on it, you're looking at it as just a sexual thing.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are charlatans. If he's not married to one of the women, see, I'm physically, literally married to one,
Right.
and then move the other one in. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. And then how long can you do it? You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff is faddish, man. We get into these fads in our community, and we have a lot of guys that are charlatans. We do have a lot of guys, like I said, 7 to 1. You got a lot of women out here that's got themselves together, that's got incomes. Then you get old, big, tall, handsome, smooth nigga, or some guy that's got abs and he on there talking with his shirt off, talking prison talk. Yeah. These women become sexually attractive to these men. Right. And they get into those situations, and those situations don't last. You know how deep my inbox is of women saying I'd be your other wife, or I'd be your other wife just based on a sexual attraction for me. Right. Anytime a man gives a woman great advice in how to deal with her life or her kids, a woman going to repay you with the only thing that she's born into the world to repay you with. That's her body. She come into the world complete. We got to grow and get strong and earn. She come in with her ovaries as a little baby. Right. So polygamy is going to be the new way regardless of how it goes. And we already, granddaddy always had 3-4 women, man. And grandma always had the last child was light skinned or dark skinned. And granddaddy knew it. It's like granddaddy had 13 children. He jet black, mama jet black. The last child, your complexion. Granddaddy treat that child better so he could say, you ain't hurt me by having the milkman, baby. Right, you know what I'm saying? So, and even now, we have situations where we have women sharing men.
Indeed. Absolutely.
Everybody getting pregnant, but everybody ain't married. So we already sharing men. We just don't want to be out in the open with it, but we already sharing, man. We've been sharing these women. I think when a woman is a little girl, I got a saying, I don't know if you heard me say this, 4-year-old girls are stronger than grown women. Because when you was a 4-year-old girl, you asked a 4-year-old girl, who your boyfriend is? She said JR, and another one said JR, and the other one said JR, and you said, I got 5 girlfriends, and all your little girlfriends out there playing hopscotch together with no problem. It's only when they get older and somebody get a perm or somebody gets some little breasts or a little booty that they start to get mad. Man, women don't care about that stuff, man. As long as they can get the time in that they need. Women don't care about this. I know this simply by being a player.
Yeah,
just being real. Women don't care about that stuff. I ain't that no more, but I know this by being a player, bro.
Yeah, that time. Exactly. You're right. That time. That's what matters. So you mentioned something which was going to go into my next question to you about, you say not even 3 women could handle your sex drive.
Nah.
At the age of 45 years old, you're currently vegan, right?
Yeah. Now. Well, I just got back on the train probably about 3 weeks ago. So but I always worked out, kept myself in shape, you know what I'm saying? But go ahead with your question.
What advice would you give men? Because obviously, the older, and I'm bringing this up in terms of under the umbrella of masculinity, because a lot of women have complaints, and men, we aren't, the way we used to, and guys obviously slack off of their physical fitness and health, so on and so forth. What is it that you do to be able to perform for the men that's having issues in that area and are trying to have a drive like that and get themselves together? What advice is it? Living that vegan lifestyle? Is it something else you do? What advice?
Working out, man. Your testosterone is built by working out. You know, if you do squats and work your legs, your testosterone gonna be there.
Right.
Some of it is also be with a woman that you care about and you're attracted to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Loud reefer has an effect on people. Smoking tobacco has an effect on people. You know, it's funny because I'm not blowing my own horn, but look, I'm sitting up here 45. I got my full hairline, my skin glowing, man. It's your lifestyle and your choices. You know, every time you go to the gas station, I call them meat pills. You know, they got the meat pills and the meat honey up there. And brothers figure, hey, look, as long as I can get a meat pill or some meat honey, I tell brothers all the time. I had a partner that told me, what if you fell over a bridge and you had to do 2 pull-ups to pull yourself up, then pull your wife up? A lot of men can't do two pull-ups, 10 pull-ups, can't do 10 push-ups, can't run a mile.
Right.
Then want a woman to respect them.
Right.
Want a woman to out here with these tight pants on, muffin tops, showing these funny shaped bodies these men got. Come on now, man.
Right.
You gonna need a meat pill.
Right.
Look at how we looking, man. Look at how we looking, man.
Nah, I got you. So basically, physical fitness is number one.
Yeah.
If you complaining about, you know, you having stamina issues or just ED issues, you know,
get fit, man. Get fit. Stop being so lazy.
So what made you, you know, convert to the vegan lifestyle?
Honestly, it wasn't for health reasons at all. I'm a chef.
Okay.
And when I quit teaching school, I wanted to start my own school, and I figured the easiest way to make the money for it was cooking, because I mean I'm nice in the kitchen.
Right.
So I was like, and I was talking my talk that I talk. And in my city, I was like, well, if you'll eat my food, then you'll listen to me.
Correct.
Well, I just started cooking out of my house, put it on Instagram, and it blew. And you know, I was cooking everything fresh from scratch, and after cutting chickens up and slicing big ribeye steaks, and peeling shrimp from scratch and cutting lobster for 2-3 years, it got to the point where I just got tired of touching flesh. And I was just eating chips and stuff and cakes. And my wife was like, yo, you look like you done lost a lot of weight. And then I went and I weighed myself, and I had lost like 50 pounds. And I was like, man, I need to do better than just eating chips and stuff. And one day I was at the spot and I was busting some lobster down, and I could see like bumps, like little hives on my arm. And it just tired of touching flesh. And I said, well, I'm gonna stop eating meat. And when I stopped eating meat, you know, me being pig-headed like I am, I had a great, prosperous business going. When I stopped eating meat, I'm like, if I ain't eating meat, I ain't gonna sell meat.
Right.
So then I started making vegan food, and I started doing vegan meal prep, and that kind of took off. And I was shipping vegan meal prep all over the country. I created a detox product.
Right.
And,
I remember that. I forgot all about that. I remember you was promoting
my detox is a beast. So I was doing the vegan meal prep and stuff. And then I went to Texas I went to Texas actually when I met my second wife, and a homeboy was down there. You know, I'm a country boy from the South, and Texas known for barbecue. And I said, man, I got to try this meat down here. And I got on it, and you know, that same country boy came back. So I got on it, and when I got back, I was eating meat here and there, you know what I'm saying? But always containing the vegetables, but eating meat here and there because I grill out a lot and do cookouts in my family a lot. And then man, I just realized, man, I don't feel good. I don't feel good eating it. It tastes good. I don't feel good eating it. I love meat. I love pork. I love meat, man. But the older I get, man, it mess with me, man. It mess with me. It make my stomach fat. And as far as gas in the meat, one day I had went to play basketball with my sons, and my foot was hurting for no reason. And I hadn't sprained my ankle or nothing. And I was talking to my homeboy that's a vegan who's super health conscious. He said, man, that's all that meat you eating, your foot hurting. And it kind of just made me mad, you know, that he came at me like that. So I said, let me try. And I stopped eating meat again, and my foot stopped hurting. And I just like, man, I can't say I won't ever eat meat again, but I'm just like, man, I'm imagining myself not, and I'm just living my life. You know what I mean? But it just don't sit right with me. I can't drink orange juice no more. I can't eat spaghetti sauce. As you get older, certain things just don't sit right no more. You know what I'm saying? And
so do you still do meal prep, and do you still sell that detox?
Yeah, I still sell the Country Boy Detox. This slogan, get your shit right.
You know what I'm saying? It's an old recipe my grandma created, man. I done went through patent issues over this stuff. I didn't try to be shut down. I don't even be announcing it anymore. I got enough clientele built up of return customers. If anybody on here, just a little plug for it. When a dog used the bathroom, it don't wipe his butt. It jump right up on the couch and sit down. You know
Right.
So we ain't supposed to be having to wipe our butt like that. And if there's anybody in the chat that has used my product, they'll tell you when you wipe your butt, it ain't nothing on the tissue.
Right.
And that's when they know they need to get another batch, when the tissue is dirty. So man, they tried to Dr. Sebi me, man. They tried to lock me up behind that product because I was selling it to my people and my people trusted me. And until I got my patent, I was just selling it, bottling it up, and won't put no ingredients on it. So they like, you can't sell nothing without the ingredients.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, monosaccharide and dextrosium. I don't know what that is in ice cream, those ingredients, but I buy it. So enough people was buying it just off my word alone and off my testimonies. And I keep my pages open so everybody can comment. So ain't nobody never came and said they didn't get their product and I'm a fraud or anything. So even now, man, they still messing with me on the patent. So I still make it and sell it. And I don't even say nothing about it to know, I appreciate you for asking. I can put the link up or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I don't talk about it like that because them folks came after me.
Got you. Yeah, because I had until you mentioned it just now, I had completely forgotten about it.
And them folks came after me, man. Them folks came after me. I'm like, wow.
Right. Yeah, I'll definitely put the link and in the description of the video too for those of y'all watching the restream as well.
Yeah. And I'll send you the link to it.
Got you. But before the next question, I was gonna get into what is it, Bubbles and Bears, or is it Bears and Bubbles?
Bears and Bubbles.
Bears and Bubbles. Before I get into that, I wanna for the people who don't know, I'm gonna talk about the house next door, which was the viral video that you appeared in. That if you guys, I'm gonna play it here for you guys, and I'm gonna get Javon's take on it, on his thought process, because he is definitely a lover of his people. You know what I'm saying? And as you watch this video, you'll definitely see that, and it's just food for thought for you to watch it and reflect on, the extent of what was going on and how powerful that was. But before we get into it, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's easy like Sunday morning. I'll go ahead and pull up the video real quick here so you guys can see it here on the side. Let me try to maximize it here. I should have had it all the way blown up here. Let's go in theater mode. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty good. If not, you definitely be able to hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute mine.
I seen yesterday that made me smile, but it hurt me to my heart. There's a house next door to me that's been abandoned, and the yard, the grass high as hell and everything. There's a couple of abandoned cars out there beside the house. Well, yesterday I get off work about 7 o'clock. A Mexican guy pulled up. He said, "These your cars?" I said, "No." He said, "I just bought this house, man." I said, "All right, that's what's up." He was like, "You know whose cars these is?" He said, "No." He said, "Well, I bought the house, not the cars." Okay, I'm like, cool. I'm thinking he just coming to look at the house. I go back in the house, do a little straighten up. I swear to God, I walk back at the house. Now I'm getting off about 7:20. It's fucking 9 Mexican trucks just pull up. They got fucking beer, lights, and shit, right? So I'm like, what y'all finna do? He said, we finna fix this house. I said, what kind of crew you got working after 7 o'clock? He said, these my friends. The fucking house is fixed this morning. They went in there and drywalled that fucking house. Wow. I just left out of there. It was a fucking abandoned house. That bitch looked new this morning. Whew. It was an abandoned fucking house. And it looked new this morning. It's an old African proverb. Many hands make light work. I just don't think they're better than us. I just think we won't do nothing together. Wow. You're not hearing what the fuck I'm saying. It was an abandoned house yesterday at 7:15. That bitch is new this morning. He bought a tax lien house. I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see is one family gonna live in there. Is they gonna? I'm gonna get to know the motherfuckers. You best believe me, when I make some money, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bring us together, and I'm not fucking with a lot of people.
So, Mr. Clark.
Man, that thing touched me looking at it, man. It took me back to that moment, bro.
So, are you still living in that same location?
You know, the funny thing is, that wasn't my actual house. It was the trap house I was cooking out of.
Okay.
They bought the house next door. So it's not my actual, it was a house I was renting, and they bought the house next door. It's not the neighbor to the house that I actually live in. No.
Gotcha.
But man, it's crazy, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would make videos and post them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is how the universe worked. When I made that video, I couldn't help but cry because I saw them fix this house overnight. And some was like, I ain't posting this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm handsome, cool guy, whatever. You know, I've been known as this masculine guy. I'm like, I ain't posting this, man. I don't want to post it. And some was just eating me up, like, post it. But I was so hurt and upset that I had all the food to prep for the day. I went home. I didn't work. I was dejected. I was jealous of them, man. And essentially, I was jealous that they did that fast. And I got home. Some said, go ahead and upload it and post it. And I posted it, man. And you know, I laid down, and because you know, I was sad. And when I posted, when I woke up to my phone ring, and my man said, yo, bro, you got a video that's got 1 million views. And I had my phone's ringer down, and I just heard it vibrate. And when I picked it up, so many notifications was coming. The battery was going down. Like,
right.
And then my son hit me up like, yo, you on World Star Hip Hop. And that video is what pretty much introduced me to most of the people that know me now. You know what I mean? And it just was a situation where I feel like, man, come on, man, let's stop blaming the world. These people fixed the house overnight. They have their own shopping plazas, their own shopping centers.
Right.
And we sitting back in the Chinaman and they in our communities, the Arabs, and you know, we can't get a grocery store. You know, we had grocery stores after slavery.
Right.
So that unity that they had, and like I said earlier, I was joking with the Mexican on the job. He said he learned that from us. So, you know, even now when you talk about polygamy, man, I'm talking about group economics. I'm talking about a man talking to another man. Look, I got a wife and 2 kids. You got a wife and 2 kids. This thing hard. We both working, making money. We're going to homeschool our kids. Our wives going to make us good food, and we're going to go buy us a 2-family house, and we're going to do this thing together. That's what I mean when I say polygamy. The sex is just there or not there. I'm talking about us living it, man. We about to go through a major depression, man. People losing their 401ks, man.
Facts.
So, you know, a lot of sisters, you know, in every culture, a child is a bag. You know, in every culture, they look at a child as a bag, so much so that if you can't have kids, they'll say you cursed by God. So having a baby has always been security to a man
or in the United States, having a baby is security to some type of benefits, whether it's housing, food, healthcare. So a lot of our women are aging out to where, hey, I'm 42 and my son graduating from high school. Those women are going to be polygamous.
Yes.
Those women are going to be polygamous. I guarantee you, brother, they won't have a choice. They won't have a choice. It's not going to be any more help. It's not going to be any more help. The way the job market is going and the dollar falling, these women are going to call up the guys that they know, and I'm going to be sitting back. Come on, move in with me. I got you. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
Got to bring something to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And both my wives have master's degrees. They ain't no dummies, man. You know what I'm saying? They not no dummies that's like, oh, just some dummy following some guy that's that's talking some prison talk to them. No. They have that. They're educated women. You know what I'm saying? They have their own businesses. They're legit.
Absolutely. That's dope. Like I said, I was playing that. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So, and your thought process, I'm assuming you just broke it down.
I'm so glad I shared it because it's what made people get to know me.
Right.
It was a very humbling experience.
Very vulnerable.
And when I go back and look at it, sometimes I laugh, and you don't know how much I got, man, that big nigga crying. And,
right.
Man, you know how social media is.
Right.
So but I'm so glad that I did that, because I'm pretty sure you were introduced to me through that video or by somebody, some way, some form of fashion as a result of that video. I think right now it's got about 9 million views or something. Right. So it ain't but 40 million black folks. So I'm 1/4 been seen. I'm messing with you. Some people might have seen it twice. I'm just joking.
Right. No, I got you. I don't know if that's exactly how I got introduced to it. It might have been, but I know whatever the time was. But I'm glad you were able to share that, your thought process on that. So next question I got for you though. So you developed this concept. I guess you innovated it. Was called the bears and bears and bubbles. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which I guess is under the realm of manifestation, law of attraction. I know that you're a follower, or not a follower. You subscribe to the teachings of Abraham Hicks. I know you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I think you met her, right?
Yeah, I met her. That was crazy. I met her in the elevator and we kicked it. You know what I'm saying? I met her at breakfast and was sitting next to her eating breakfast. And when she got up, I'm like, "You Abraham Hicks?" She was like, "Yeah." And we just sat down and she sat back down and kicked it with me and my wife. We ate breakfast. I took a picture with her and everything. So it's crazy because the more I studied her, the more I believed in religion. It's all esoteric knowledge. It's all the same. But Bears and Bubbles, the first level is mental health clarity.
Okay.
It's about mental health. Once you get in America, we depressed because we oppressed. So the first step to anything is mental health clarity, even knowing what you want. So a lot of stuff, it's a breakdown of psychology, religion, science, and philosophy. With 3 parts. In religion, you got a Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You got a mind, body, and soul in philosophy. You got a id, ego, and super ego in psychology. We earth, wind, and fire. A lot of people don't realize that as humans, they don't get where that come from. So I tied it all together. We're earth, wind, and fire. Your spirit is your breath. You have a respiratory system. The Bible said when God made man, he breathed air into man, and man became a living soul. So when they see you fall out on the ground and they think you dead, the first thing they do is touch your neck. Is he got any air in him? Oh no, he ain't got no air in him. Put his spirit back in his body. Give him some CPR. Now that you see his chest rise, he got some air in him. Check his pulse. What is that? Is that his heartbeat? He ain't got no pulse. He ain't got no electricity in him. Shock his chest.
Right.
Now they gave you some air and some wind and some electricity, some wind and fire. Now they put you on the IV, bring you back on into the world. It's very simple. So what I've done, I've took religion, psychology, philosophy, and science and metaphysics and brought it all into one. So it's basically mental health clarity. Most of the time, we don't know what we want. We don't know who we are. We want what we think people. I thought I wanted to travel the world till I traveled the world. Then I realized, man, traveling is just something I said because it's cool to do. I want to show up. Once I start traveling the world, man, get me back to the United States, man.
So how did you come up with the concept of Bears and Bubbles? Like what was it? What was it that introduced you that this is? Because I remember you mentioned this was some years ago.
Yeah.
You said that, you know, I think the statement, I don't want to quote you, but you said something along the lines of Black people think the law of attraction is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They be like, I ain't with all that
Yeah, we do. We
manifestation
do.
bullshit or
And
whatever.
that's why white folks killing the game. Anybody that you see, Kanye, Jay-Z, LeBron, anybody that you ask, how did you make it? They say, I saw myself making it, and they believe. They don't give you no fancy formula. They say, I believed in myself. I saw myself doing it. You know what I mean? And see, Black people don't realize we're manifesting all the time by default. I'll give you an example of some manifestation. We'll take it to the law of attraction and we'll call it prayer. All right, watch this. Black folks were enslaved in this country, right? We were taught in religion, pray to Jesus, right? We prayed and believed in Jesus so much that they end up fighting each other and freed us.
Say that again.
Law of attraction, believing that you're going to receive, basically in a nutshell. The slaves believed and prayed to Jesus, something fake that was taught to them.
Right.
And believed so long that the white man turned on his own brother, fought each other, had a war for 5 years and freed us.
Wow.
We didn't free ourselves. We prayed for it. See, people don't realize there's power in prayer.
Absolutely.
Pray for me. Send me good energy. Send me good vibrations.
Absolutely.
It's saying the same thing. It's all the same thing. So when Black people hear this law of attraction, we say, oh, that's some crazy white folk stuff. So I'm just presenting it to us in a different way. What we think, a thought is a thing.
Absolutely.
A thought is a thing. And if you're constantly thinking bad things, you're going to manifest bad things. If you're thinking good things, you're going to manifest good things. So my Bears and Bubbles is really a game that I created. A bear is a manifestation, a thing, and a bubble is a thought. I'm trying to get us to float on high thoughts.
Right.
Because we'll manifest good things. I'll give you a perfect example. Think about it like this. We didn't let the world tell us we shouldn't like Mondays. So Mondays are bad because you think Monday's going to be bad.
Yes.
If you think you're going to be late, you're going to be late. I tell students in my class all the time, don't set a snooze button on your alarm. Don't hit the snooze button. If somebody called you at 3:30 in the morning and said, you won the lottery, you'll hop right up. You wouldn't be tired.
Right.
Somebody's child was in an accident. You wouldn't be tired. So when you get up after 8 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep and bam, 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 and hit snooze, you're saying, man, I don't want to get up to the world today.
Right.
And if I don't want to get up to the world today, the only thing you can do is lay there and think about why you don't want to get up. Traffic gonna be bad. My job gonna be, it's gonna be exactly like you think.
Absolutely.
So Monday is a bad day to us. And then we don't realize the law of attraction is so strong, what they do with words, because we thought with pictures before words.
Absolutely.
Trees existed before the word tree existed.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So when we don't realize with these words, we wait till the weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. WEEKEND. It's the weekend. So through their law of attraction, we actually feel WEAKENED. Weakened. After you work 5 days for them, you feel weakened. So you're looking forward to the weekend. So we have to understand that we're creating this life. I don't get stuck in traffic. I don't see cops. That's my saying. I don't see cops.
Yeah, I remember you said that a few weeks ago. Yeah,
I don't see cops, bro. Think about it like this. You ever wanted a car, and soon as you get that car, you see that car, and you feel like, damn, because you're attracted to it now. You're riding around in it. If you go outside and you're in a bad mood, then bad mood things are going to come to you. Not because of no cosmic slop or all of this. If you walking around and you got a resting B-face or in a bad mood, the people that's in a bad mood gonna say, "World fucked up, ain't it?"
Yeah,
You gonna
yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Yeah." Then before you know it, y'all going. But the people that's out smiling, having a good time, people gonna say, "Hey, I like your personality, man." You go. It's just that simple. It's not such a big thing because without getting too much in it, your personality affects how people treat you.
Facts.
Anything you get in the world is going to be from people. You ain't going to get none on the sky.
Facts.
So your personality shapes your personal reality.
Mm-hmm.
And your personal reality is life because gas prices are up. That's not a bad thing to me because I got a Nissan Cube. So my personal reality is different from yours.
Right.
But if you take the word personality and the word personal reality and put them up over top of each other, they're the same thing. All you got to do is take real out of personal reality and take real out of personal reality and it'll spell personality. Your personal reality, your life is based on your personality. Go out here being mean, you're going to attract mean people on the job. Go out here being nice. It's just how it is. It's not really this whole big thing. It's like I believe that I'm going to be me with my personality. Right now, we living in a world where when somebody said, "Yo, you should check out J.R. Ryder. He made some with one of your videos." My man said, "You should diss him and get some views and diss him." His people. That's not my personality.
Yeah.
That's not my personal reality. I was happy that somebody threw me a lob. I hit you up through YouTube, and my personality, I'm on the show now.
Right.
I'm gonna let that get it for me.
Right.
Before I go out here calling names out on YouTube. I don't like this guy. I don't like Kevin Samuel. I don't like this guy. And now I got a whole vibe coming because I didn't put these hashtags out and it don't last. You know what I'm saying? It don't last. I'm cool with growing how I grow, bro. So I'm saying live, I appreciate you for throwing me this alley-oop because a lot of people are jealous of other men trying to do what they do.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I'm along the same thought process that you are on. And with that being said, for anybody who wants to hear more of your teachings for the Bears and the Bubbles, how do they find out more about this? Because this is definitely something that's super important. As simplified as you put it. How can they join up for the class or
With the
attend?
Bears and Bubbles, I do it, me and my wife, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube page. He's going to put the link out there, but my YouTube page is Javon M. Clark's Aggressive Church. That's my YouTube page where I do Bears and Bubbles.
Gotcha.
It's a different setting. I'm rebranding myself as the modern masculine man. So that's me here talking and answering questions. That's a new page. Like you said, you couldn't share that page because it's not big. It don't have enough people on. I only got I'm starting all over because I want people to get a practical me. So many people are used to this me. I want people to get a practical me sitting here talking, teaching without cursing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can find me for Bears and Bubbles at Javon M. Clark's Aggressive Church, and that'll be in the link. But if you can, search the modern masculine man, and that's where you'll find my new page with my new content that's going to be coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But Bears and Bubbles, you could tune in Monday through Friday religiously. We there. And it's funny and it's entertaining. You get to meet my wife. You get to hear us talk about a lot of stuff. But more than anything, you get to learn about mental health clarity and being your true self. And I've had people in my class, man, God, just the stuff that they've manifested. Businesses, houses, cars. People that got rich. People that made babies, man, so much stuff. People say I've changed their life and delivered them from depression. And I'm so excited about it, and I'm gonna continue to do it. And I've been doing it for free for years. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you a personal story here, but first, before that, do you have on the Aggressive Church? do you have all your old content when you first started Bears and Bubbles on Facebook?
Yeah, all that's up there. All
Okay,
that's up
cool.
there.
So
All that old content, and then I make videos on Facebook that I upload to YouTube just about various subjects that people tune into.
right. Yeah, I just wanted to, like, I'm gonna have everything in the description. So
Yeah,
for the Bears and Bubbles specifically and other content, definitely check those channels out.
yeah,
For me personally, I don't need it, but I just wanted to give you a personal story. This was about, since you're saying that how it affect different people.
yeah,
A personal story for me was back when you were doing it on Facebook. This was probably about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that.
yeah.
This was like I had just got out of a divorce, single father, raising my 3 sons by myself. I was working like this job I didn't want to be on. It seemed like everything was terrible. I was that everything you described about waking up in the morning, all that stuff. And I remember you and your wife were on the live, and I asked you a question. I said, how do you change your thought process, or how do you manifest, or how do you use the law of attraction if you have a pessimistic mind, if you always a pessimist, if you always thinking negative thoughts, right? I asked you that question, and you had read it out loud, and you was like, I mean, you just think a positive thought. I mean, you on Facebook, you said it like that, right? And your wife laughed. And then you looked at her and you said, "That's not funny," or whatever. Like you said it like that. You was like, "That's not funny." You were like, "You're on Facebook. I mean, you basically you said you're in control of your thoughts.
Yeah.
You can think of, obviously you think of the bubble when that bear or whatever is there to raise you higher, to raise up your vibration and your frequency."
Mhm.
And I always remembered that. And I'm not plugging it. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I ended up writing a book called "The Law of Attraction for the Pessimistic Mind."
Oh
You
man, that's
know,
dope. That's dope, man. I
yeah,
gotta get that. How can I get that, bro?
yeah.
Look, hey, let me tell you something, man. This is funny.
Yeah,
You have to think about this. Now, this is for the people. You said this was 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. Yes,
Yeah. When I don't even remember that.
I know. Yeah,
You got to think when I got the I was just starting a new page, and I was like, "Dag, I'm gonna start all over with this new content." And I was thinking about just changing the name of the page. Some of me was like, "Nah, start all over." And I had did a couple of videos, and it maybe was like 20 people watching, and I was like, "Dag," but I said, "Nah, momentum gonna change."
right.
And somebody hit me up and say, "Yo, this brother JR Wisdom shared you," and I said, "Whoa, thanks." And when I went to your page, I'm like, "This guy doing it." I'm trying to get where you at, bro. The way you chop your videos and edit, your lighting out. I'm like, this guy doing it. So think about this, bro. I'm really being real. I'm like, yo, this guy gonna share me. This is an opportunity for me. This is an alley-oop. Me and my wife. I'm looking at you like you right where Kevin Samuels is trying to get. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not realizing that right here on this camera, you're one of my manifestations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say the class changes people's life. And there's an old saying, the poor righteous teachers. Now, I'm not poor, but I ain't got it like that, but I ain't gonna be no poor righteous teacher.
Right.
My manifestations are those stories.
Right.
Man, you killing the game right now. You know what I'm saying? You're doing well, bro. And you're saying that you watch my show and ask me a question and I answer. I so don't remember that, bro.
Right.
I so don't remember that.
Yep. I remember it. That's the thing about us, when you never know who you affect on a daily basis. Just somebody can always remember you, that one interaction you had with them,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever point in time, which I remember that because I just remember that I couldn't. It was just like I was just upset all the time, mad all the
Yeah.
time, and I was just like, man, I was tuning in to try, and that's when I just started getting into the manifestation, law of attraction. I was just like, I just can't. It got to be something like for somebody like me that's always thinking like this. You know what I'm saying? Well, I
Man, I
can't
gotta
think.
read that book, man.
Yeah.
I gotta read that book. I gotta send you some. I need a signed
copy. Because you're gonna be some great, man. We all gonna be some great, and man, that's amazing to me. Because like I said, honestly, when you started talking to me off camera when we were setting up the show, I was like, man, this dude been watching me for a minute. I'm like, this dude, you telling me stuff off the cuff that I've been saying, and I'm the one that's starstruck. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that's like, yo, this guy pays popping. You know, his stuff is professional. I'm like, yo, my wife, yo, this guy finna turn me on. I'm starstruck. You know, that for lack of a better word.
Right. Now I understand.
I'm hyped. I'm giddy. I'm like, yo, how this dude know me so much?
Right.
And then it's like, what you telling that story, man, it's like, damn, that make me feel even, look, without being in the humblest way I can say it, you one of my students, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not being funny.
Absolutely. No, I don't take it. I definitely don't take offense to that at all.
Yeah.
You know, he who hates knowledge loves death.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So that's
and I'm a student.
Absolutely.
I'm a student. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured I'd run that by you real quick. But
man, that made my night, bro. That made my night for real, for real.
Hey, some things are full circle, you know what I mean? But you know, I think I encourage all you guys definitely, and you know, and I'm gonna finish asking Javon a couple more questions here because I know we've been chopping it up here for a while. Definitely check out that Bears and Bubbles show as well as his other channel. Subscribe to both of them right now if you haven't, and also if you're just now tuning in, hit that like and subscribe button as well. So we got the Bears and Bubbles, and you broke it down. You kind of simplified it, you know, the process, and you basically gave them what it is that you know, some of your students, the success they've been having by following your teachings and things like that. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, you use two terms and we talked about this offline. What is your definition of a low life?
A low life is a low-minded, low-level, low-vibrational thinking person. Now, let me explain to you what I mean. It may not be your fault. You know what I mean? When we were young, movies like Menace to Society, Belly, Shot Us, we were young and children. We gravitated to these movies. I know men today, 45, still say that's their favorite movie. No, that's a low life mindset. That's a low life mentality. So I've been kind of, last few days, I was kind of harping on this show, P Valley, right?
Yeah.
That's a low life mindset. If I want to watch something to make me laugh, I know to watch a comedy. If I want to watch something romantic, I know to watch a romantic movie. Where when you want to watch a show with that content, what do you want to see?
Yeah, I remember you posted. I haven't seen it yet. I kind of, just by seeing the pictures, the ads, it's something that I know I don't want to see, but I remember reading that post. But go ahead.
What do you want to see? So a low life is, you have to realize, low life attract low lives. Now, this is where people get upset with me. Men that go to college and create wealth from them don't make babies with girls in the projects. I used to go over to the projects and smash them girls. I ain't making no baby with them. And girls who have a future, whether it's college or working a job, they don't have baby by low life men. Now, this is the problem that we have in our community that nobody wants to address. Now, I put this stat out before Kevin Samuels, just being real. 80% of our single mothers have babies by 20% of men.
Correct.
And we know in our communities, that's basically saying, if you a single mother, your baby daddy got 2 other baby mamas. We know for a time during the 90s, when the dope and drug Little Kim era was out, our women were having babies by the same men. So when I say low life, I hate to say it, but all the girls who were fasting and single mothers and having babies early, they had them babies by them same guys that got locked up and went to jail. So think about this. You can look at every inner city and country in America. All the crime, violence, and stuff is going on around these low-income housing and project communities, right? So if this low-income housing in these communities are for women and children, why is it crime infested?
because only a low-life man will go live and sell dope and do crime in a place that's for women and children. And only a low-life woman would allow a man to come in her house and do that.
Right.
Pick this real quick. There's this narrative that the government forced the black man out of the home with food. That's such a low-life narrative. The government gave women food stamps and forced the black man out the home. Go to the projects, go to these communities. It's men over there. It's low-life men. It's men over there. You ain't never seen no woman living in the projects that ain't got no man living with her.
Right.
It's two types of people that get together. The dope boy street guy and the girl who was fast-assing early. They have babies, and then they get on social media and complain about how bad the world is because it's 80% of them women, single mothers. The married women ain't got nothing to say. Grandma said empty wagon make the most noise. So the ones who chose that bad baby daddy, they're the ones saying the black community is bad. The guys that have impregnated these women and they're dissing black women. If you ask me, bro, black women great. I don't got no problem with my whole life. They have always done what I said.
Right.
They love me. When you get it, black women ain't mean and angry to me. They do what I say. I'm masculine. They lay up on my chest and pick my neck. Some women, you know how a woman, if you're masculine, a woman will want to lick your teeth or smell your underarms or play with your nose. I don't have these problems. So low lives are people that still think like that. Think about this. What kind of low life mentality is this, right, bro? Let's be real. We're showing our coochie prints on social media. A woman don't even take a picture facing the front. She take a picture from the back and had to turn her head around. Cookout, family reunion, twerking at the kindergarten graduation, twerking in the restaurants. The men walk around showing their butts, pants sagging below the curve of their butt in public. Those are low lives, and for some reason they like each other. He liked Tim's. She loved a man in Tim's. She loved that guy to go get them skinny jeans and them shiny future shoes. I call them future shoes. Them shoes with them bedazzled and glitter on them.
Yeah.
They love each other. And for some reason, those street dope boys, those low-life men, they love that girl with that blue hair and them lashes. And the only reason they love each other because they can only get each other. Don't no regular man want no woman with all that on. And don't no regular woman want no man like that. So they get together and they procreate and they make the race look bad. Go to any city. What's the number one project in your city? Well, let's go. That's where the crime and stuff coming from. And they, for some reason, they love to make babies over and over and over again. And then they don't care about education. They low lives, man. So those are the ones that when, hey, Javon, I'm Marvin the Martian.
Right.
You must give us someone. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take you straight to the projects. I'm going to take you to the hood. I'm going to give you all the low lives. Because let me say this, and then I could sum it up. White folks who doing well don't never sit around and say, what about the folks in the trailer parks?
Right.
What about the rednecks? They don't care about them.
Right.
That low life mentality is why blacks are where we are. I call it the single black mother, white liberal democratic mindset. Every year they come to us with the same thing. We're going to fix police brutality. Well, I don't live in that neighborhood. I don't worry about that.
Right.
So these low lives, women and men worry about police brutality. We're going to fix the prison. I ain't worried about my sons going to prison. You want to fix the prisons? It's like this same old low life mentality. We're going to fix police brutality. We're going to fix prison reform. And we're going to make the schools better. And the newest low life mentality, we mad because they won't let us vote with no ID.
Yeah.
Hey, man, if you ain't got no license, no ID, that means you ain't conducting no business. You ain't cashing no checks.
Right.
You ain't got no bank account, man. Get this low life out the damn voting line, man.
Right.
So that's what a low life is.
I got you. That's a perfect summation of that, you know, for sure. I'm glad
That's a
you
low life.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that. Now, on the other end, you use a term called prison talk, which I
Yeah,
think some of us are familiar with, but a lot of us aren't. What do
yeah.
you mean when you use that term prison talk? What does that
Prison
mean?
talk, black conscious talk, just prison talk.
Hotepping?
Guys that go to prison talking that hotep stuff, Islam, getting out talking prison talk,
Mm,
just prison talk. You know what I'm saying? That the black man is God. And watch, the reason I call it prison talk, because it's, let me just be clear.
right.
The white man has two reasons that he's decided that he's God. And you know what they are? I got white skin and blonde hair.
Okay.
As black men, we can't even come up with our own reason for why we God. We got melanin in our skin and ether in our hair. Man, stop copying them white folks, man. The Ku Klux Klan will justify that they God and God come from them because they got white skin and blonde hair.
Right.
Guys that go to prison, get out and scream this we God talk, this Egypt talk, this African talk, we all kings talk. That's prison talk. This whole the black man was taken out of the family. It's prison talk. It's things that ex-cons say because they can't make it in society. It's prison talk. Young Pharaoh, Sarah Soon Seti, Brother Polite, Umar Johnson talks a lot of prison talk too. He just got a PhD.
Right.
Prison talk, man. It's that talk. It's ethnocentrism. Let me give you an example of prison talk. And this I'm gonna tell a story because I tell stories real quick.
Gotcha.
When I was a little boy, me and a friend was on the front porch and we got to arguing. We got to arguing over whose daddy was the strongest. And I said, hey man, my daddy can beat Batman. He said, my daddy can beat Superman. I said, my daddy can beat the Incredible Hulk. Then he got wise. He said, my daddy can beat God. Messed me up. I bust him upside the head. He fell, got to crying. Our mom was run out there. She said, what the hell you do to him? Why is he crying? I said, I hit him in the head because he said his daddy could beat God. And they started laughing.
Yeah.
Because now one of us had never seen our damn daddy, bro. Just two kids out there talking. And that's what we do when we get out of prison.
Mm.
Think about this, bro. Let's be real. When we get out of prison, you have minimal resources.
Right.
You got lower education. Now, this is where people get mad at me. Every one of them did it. Fuad Muhammad, get out of prison, change his name. The black man is God because of your hair and your skin. Elijah Muhammad did it. Malcolm X did it. Everybody gets out of prison, change their name, and start talking some type of religious talk. That's because you can't do nothing else, bro. You can't do nothing else. Why I can't know your name? Because you got your PayPal set up in some other name and ain't no Javon Michael Clark. That's my birth name. You can Google me, man.
Right.
So this prison talk, it's prison talk. People get mad at me, man. Marcus Garvey was talking a lot of prison talk and didn't even go to prison.
Right.
He couldn't do that in Jamaica. Jamaica poor. You come to America and rile the good niggas up, rile the good black folks up, make all this money, buy ships. You never go to Africa. The ships never sail.
Mm-hmm.
Black consciousness is prison talk to me. Black consciousness. I've been against it. It actually pulled us away from the church, which was actually doing something for the community, and put us in the land of chakras.
Mm.
It put us in a land. Hey man, your grandma taught you this, man. You talking about some karma. That's Hindu. That's prison talk. Karma come back in the next life. It don't happen now. You're gonna get your karma. That's prison talk. So prison talk to me is any excuse, any made up narrative. I can astral project. You know, I can. Come on, man. Get out of here with that prison talk, man. Ain't nobody listening to that. It's ethnocentric. You are black with melanin and ether in your hair, so you God, you better. And we talk about the past because we ain't got nothing going on now. If we was doing a whole lot now, we wouldn't be worried about the past. You notice the white man like, we don't want to talk about our past. We got so much going on now. You know what I'm saying? If I never forget, I went to the Martin Luther King Museum in Memphis. I didn't know it was the actual hotel he was shot.
I didn't know that the cars that he got shot at was still there.
Right.
I didn't know that you could go stand across the street in the window that the dude shot him from. I said, man, this ain't to be celebrated. This is a crime scene that they done left the same.
Right.
This is horrifying to me. This history is horrifying to me. Now, meanwhile, I'm walking around crying. It's horrifying. And white folks like, hey, I'm at the place where Martin Luther King got shot. That's the room right there. So I say it all the time. If you went somewhere and they took you, they say, yo, JR, you said, man, look at this. This is 100 acres of land. It's got a big white house. And you said, what's this? They said, well, this is the Wisdom family land. I'm just saying, JR Wisdom. This is the Wisdom family. You said, for real? Well, why I don't own it? Well, we took it from your granddaddy. Oh, wow. That don't make me feel good.
Right.
You know, then you walk in the house, and when we get in the house, it's some bloody drawers on the floor. What's them bloody drawers? Why y'all still got them there? Well, that's the night we raped your great-great-grandma. Right. Oh, well, what's this blood over here in this glass? When we bust your granddad in your head when we first came here.
Right.
It's not history, man. It's horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's stories that keep us in our ascribed place in society. Every month at Black History Month, every year, white kids go home and white people be happy. It's February. It's Black History Month. Can't wait till my child to come home. So when the child come home, the child said, Mom, Dad, we learned in Black History Month. We was mean. The white person rubbed their hand. Oh, yeah. I ain't even had to introduce it. Thank you, school system. Now, let me tell you why we done them like that. We run shit. We gonna keep running shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what you have to do to keep running stuff. And it shows us 1st February, kindergarten. Oh, we was worse. We was down. And it teaches your place in society. So prison talk is just anybody that keep talking about history, what we was, what man, get out of here with that prison talk. You wouldn't have been talking that talk if you wouldn't have went to prison. You'd have been kept selling your dope. I hate that prison talk, man. So I hate that prison talk.
So in a nutshell, you feel, in your estimation, well, your thoughts is that it is a detriment to progression.
Oh, man, so much of a detriment to progression.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on STEM and new technology, we learning about Mansa Musa and how much gold he used to have. How you think Mansa Musa got all that gold? He was nice. He took it from other Black folks. That's what we don't understand. He took that gold from other Black folks. They ain't been to Africa, man. I've been to Africa, man. They got Black folks on their money, and they treat each other worse. China running Africa. They selling out their own people, man. It ain't like you think, bro. It ain't. That's not everywhere in Africa, but we know Africa don't own Africa. You know what's crazy to me? Pan-Africanism, all that's prison talk, bro. Think about this. You want 45 to 50 million Blacks in America to fund Africa when they got all the gold, diamond, and oil in the ground.
Right.
How about y'all get y'all shit back from them? They didn't help us during the civil rights era. So we got this attachment to Mother Africa because a mother gets praised regardless of what she does.
Right.
Tupac said his mama was a crack fiend and a Black queen at the same damn time. So it's a situation where we give all this reverence to Mother Africa regardless of what she's allowed to done to us. And people that come from other nations will break their neck to get America for what Martin Luther King was able to do during the civil rights movement.
Right.
And they come over here and they benefit from being Black. But the second you ask, oh, no, I'm Ethiopian, man. My country, Nigeria, everything is better. It's better. Why are you here? Come on, man. You know, you can get money over here. Man, shut up. Shut up. Everything is better over there, but you want to live over here. And Black people built this country. And Black people are being demarginalized for other people that come over here and get our benefits. I ain't talking about them Asians. We know what I'm talking about. Haitians and Jamaicans and Blacks. This ain't yours. You ain't do nothing for this. But prison talk will tell us we all the same and we all one and we all should be together and we getting our resources drained. Prison talk will have us thinking that everybody that's got melanin is the same. So, the Mexicans and the Asians, they brown people too. What? I thought we was Black. Now we brown people. See, we brown people when we need them for numbers. Man, I could go on all night about it.
Yeah, no, I got you.
So much stuff, bro. It's just
Right.
a warped mindset of black people. It's so hindering to us. It's so hindering.
I understand. Hey, you hit it on the head. He broke down what prison talk is and what a low life is. So I think we got it as far as that.
And
So
most low life's been to prison.
guys,
And most low life women, baby daddy been to prison. We know
Damn.
that this is just a fact, man.
sheesh. So in closing, I know we addressed this throughout this conversation. Your definition, since we're talking about the modern masculine man, what is your definition of a modern masculine man, and how do you define it? Excuse me.
I raised my sons first of all know how to cook. You got to know how to cook to be a modern masculine man, because you're gonna have to feed your children, because a lot of our sisters don't know how to cook. There's a code to being masculine. Grow up. Grow up. Stop living in our youth. We washed up, man. We shouldn't have no comment on how they rapping today and what they doing. That's children stuff. Let them children have that. Masculinity is being a man. We need a code of standards. Are we gonna say it's the but for me? Are we gonna talk, man? We can write in cursive. Are we gonna type with emojis?
Yeah.
We've made it to the point where you can put a heart on somebody's page and a man will kill you behind that. Man, I hearted her, bro. We shouldn't even be harding women.
Right.
Stop liking these women doing dirty stuff, twerking and posting something. You're giving them life. Stop doing that. Stop changing with every fad that come out. There should be a code of exits. Stop exposing women.
Right.
If a girl cheat on you, just go mess with a sister or cousin like we used to do.
Right.
Hey man, I'm out here at the store, man. I just wanted to show you my girl out here cheating. Yeah.
Right.
It's like, as men, we saying not all men. It's like we doing everything smart. #smart. Social media ass response. We're doing and behaving in a way to pander and please women. And I joke all the time. I say, hey man, don't come over here pandering to these women on my page, because they all like me anyway. These women here for me, bro.
Right.
They inbox me and say, you see the guy that was pandering? We laugh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the modern masculine man is just a modern day version of my grandfather. My grandfather drank his liquor straight, paid all the bills, and he told his woman the truth. That's my slogan. I drink my liquor straight, I pay all the bills, and I tell my woman the truth. Now, that don't mean my woman don't work. That just means I pay all the bills. Her money is money that she can save for the household and do what she want to do with, because we all know that a woman just want to know the money straight.
Right.
So we got too many men out here not letting their women know what's up with their finances. Their woman don't know how much their money they make. Now, if you make enough money to pay everything and y'all good, you good. But if you don't, she need to know what you making, what you contributing. She need to know how much child support you make. Stop wasting money on Italian designer name brands and sneakers. That's, we got to grow up. Modern masculine man. Back in the day, granddaddy had on a work outfit and some smooth, chill clothes. Won't no leisure days.
Right.
A man didn't go get his hair cut every week, sit up around in the barber shop and talk about who shot who. It's like the beauty salon.
Right.
Men didn't sit around in the barber. You can go to any barber shop on a Saturday night. I have a saying: if you go to the barber shop on Friday and Saturday, he's not masculine. I'm gonna tell you why, because he wants to go in there and hear the news and hear the talk, and he wants to go in there and get his hair cut for Friday and Saturday. Back in the day, granddaddy had plenty of women. Grandma come to granddaddy and say, hey, I got a meeting at the church. I need you to show up. I need you to get your hair cut. Granddaddy go get his hair and beard done, look like a new nigga, look like a new man.
Right.
And then as soon as he get up out the chair, he plop his hat back on. He don't care nothing about no edge up. He don't care nothing about aesthetics, being pretty. That's not masculine, bro. Aesthetics as men. I need the new shoes this week. I'm gonna stand in line for the shoes. You walk in the house, he got 50 colognes. The women want to smell you, bro. Man, I asked my homeboy, I said, man, you ain't masculine. I said, man, why you? Man, I can't have no girl move in. I won't have space for my Jordans. You got that many Jordans. You need your own closet. Back in the day, the man used to let the woman have a closet.
Right.
Man, you got some, man, you too pretty, man. We worried about too many things. Aesthetics. Got to be pretty. Got to be pretty. I want somebody to know what I'm doing. Back in the day, man, old school men only drove the car on Sunday. He didn't want the white man to know he had a Cadillac. White man might fire him.
Right.
So the modern day masculine man is simply any woman that look up and say, hey, any man in your life that you thought handled business growing up that was for the community, that you was like, yo, I grill out, I cook.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Any man that you say, he remind me of my father. He remind me of my grandpa. That's what the modern day masculine man is.
Got you.
It's not somebody that's going, man, hoochie daddy shorts out, I'm going to wear that. Next year, this could be out, I'm going to wear that. It's somebody who is trying to be a representative of what masculinity is in our society. And it's gone.
Sheesh.
Masculinity is gone, bro.
So other than people like yourself, is there any other way to bring it back, as they say? How do we move forward in terms of imputing this masculinity, or is it just like or has it become a subjective thing?
Well, just like I said, polygamy is going to be a forced issue. Masculinity is going to come back around because the same way our women said they didn't need us for so long, now time shows that they need us. Now they're going to have to come back around. In the very same way, masculinity going to have to come back around because the community, LBGTQ, they've blurred the lines so much that now we got a Supreme Court justice just nominated. She don't know what a woman is. So she
I
can't.
just watched that film last night. I got to finish watching the rest of it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you got a situation. Watch this. Whenever any group get their rights, they show off with it, and people stop liking them. So we don't be objective as black people. The same way black people start to say there's an agenda for the community. White folks used to say there's an agenda for black folks. The same way white folks weren't used to black folks and had to get used to black folks are having to get used to the community. So what's going to happen is over time, you know, they just revoke Roe versus Wade. Now, if we can't tell what a woman is, how are we going to talk about women's rights?
Right.
So what has happened is they're going to bite their own arm off, and we're going to get to the point where it's like, dang, we made it. We know we don't let a child do anything. We don't let a child pick his breakfast. We don't let a child pick his bedtime, but we'll let a child pick his gender. Right. So it's going to get so bad that the world is going to say, hey, man, we're sorry, man. The same way our sisters are coming back around and starting to realize we're not being protected. Yeah, because you're out here acting like a fool. Men protect wives and good, decent women. Men ain't going out here trying to fight and protect no low life. So masculinity is going to come back around because femininity is so toxic right now. We're sick of it. Everyone's sick of it. We're to the point where women are saying, so you mean to tell me you didn't relegated a woman to just an outfit? See, that whole feminist movement is finna blow up, where even white women are saying, ho, 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 ho. Look, I got a period. I can have babies.
Right.
You ain't gonna just be no woman because of no outfit.
Right.
You ain't gonna do that, Minnie. You ain't gonna do me like that. See, that whole movement was started because white women were mad at their husbands. And imagine if white women had went out marching on DC and Washington, the 5 million white women. White man say, if you don't get your ass home and make some watercress sandwiches, watercress. Yeah, the slaves breastfed your children. You ain't never been oppressed. You ain't never did nothing. You was right there smiling at the postcard when they was hanging black people. So what the white woman said was, hey, any black women, any gays, and we started adding letters. Anybody different. If you got a beef against the white man, join us. Anybody but straight black men. That's why you can have laws on sex, but you can't. Polygamy is illegal.
Right.
That's straight folks.
Right.
And can't nobody be here unless straight folks. It's almost like it's funny because it's like, now that I'm born, I don't care about heterosexuals. I'm here now.
Right.
I want the whole world to be like this. So masculinity is gonna come back, man, because Roe versus Wade, and my undergrad is sociology and English. I'm telling you, I'm predicting this. Roe versus Wade is going to force women to start speaking about women's rights again. And if we're going to talk about women's rights, we got to decide who a woman is. So masculinity going to come back. Same way with black people. When we got civil rights, we acted such a fool that you sick of black folks. I'm sick of us. No, seriously. We took them rights and went so far with it that we saying, man, Marvin the Martian, come get these. You know what I'm saying? In the very same way, some of those people are going to go back in the closet. They're going to be ashamed of that whole same way I'm ashamed of some black men and ashamed of some black women. They're going to become the shame of each other. And they're going to say, hey, look, let's chill. Let's just let a man be a man and a woman be a woman. It's coming back around. It's coming back around because of men like me and you, because of men like Kevin Samuels, because of men like Charleston White. For the first time, masculine men are having the opportunity to speak. And we get major pushback now. We back. That's why I changed my whole stance up, man. Stop cussing, man. Stop cussing, man. These folks, just stop cussing. Put your degrees up, put you some little statues up, sit here and try to look professional with it. But I'm still coming with the same message. Masculinity is gonna come back around, bro, because we're gonna get so tired of femininity. Nature, it's just gonna happen.
Got you. Understood. I couldn't agree with you more. That's definitely a look, you know, for the fellas who may be down and just thinking like, oh, they don't know where to go. So I want to end it with this last question. What would you say, what advice would you give to a young man who may not know what a man is, or looking to, if he doesn't have a mentor, or he's just trying to find some tenets to live by as he's maybe going through adolescence, school, or whatever? What advice would you give him? Or like, what advice have you given your sons other than what you just said?
Number one, don't be afraid to work, man.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, we think that we don't got to work no more. Don't be afraid to work. Whatever it is, a job, whether you're going to be an influencer, whatever you do, work at it. Don't be afraid to work. Don't think you deserve anything. More than anything, find someone to emulate and look up to that you know that you want to be like. I'm just an image of my grandfather and Coach Victor Bullock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Find somebody that's doing well in life that you want to emulate and look up to, and don't be ashamed. Hey, sir, I like what you're doing with your life. I want to be like you. Can I spend some time with you? And be willing to listen and be willing to be an apprentice. If that man said, yeah, you can spend some time with me, man, but I'm always working, man, cutting grass, then go cut grass with him on Saturdays. Don't expect him to just take a day off of his day to eat lunch at you at IHOP. You know what I'm saying? Find you someone that you can emulate and get close to them. And more than anything, don't get caught up in emotional feelings with women in your 20s. I teach my sons all the time, don't take these girls serious in your 20s, because everybody in their whole phase. Don't take them serious. We horn and they horn, so don't take them serious at all in their 20s.
Right. Sheesh, that's I never heard it put like that, but yeah, you know, that's some strong advice.
And one last piece of advice to any man that's looking to get married. This is just something I tell men and I tell my sons. Tell her, we ain't getting no big ring. We ain't having no big wedding. We going to the Justice of Peace and we gonna have a small reception.
Right.
If you can't do that, then that means she wants a wedding and a ring in the ceremony, and she don't want you. Because any woman that wants you will marry you on your terms. Now, I ain't saying you got to do it, but put it out there to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything else is, as you say, pageantry.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got you. Well, we've been rapping here for like 2.5 hours, and I know you was, you know, bringing some heat and some fire out here, much needed information, you know, all across the board. Any parting thoughts that you would like to leave with, Javon, before we plug where everybody can contact you and, you know, purchase your products and things like that?
Man, before I leave, I just want to say, at the end of the day, these guys like me and JR, we're doing this out of love, man. I'm being honest. To my brothers and sisters, if people didn't care about you, they wouldn't even talk about it.
Right.
people didn't care about you. They wouldn't argue with you.
There you go.
So we're doing this out of love, and just try to listen to the brothers that you know have the right spirit and are doing out of love, and the sisters as well. That's pretty much what I got to say in parting ways. Ain't nobody trying to be mean to nobody.
There you go. Where can everybody follow? I know, plug it again. I'm gonna put it in the description, but I just want to hear it from your mouth. Where can everybody find you?
Facebook, my page is called The Modern Masculine Man. I have a YouTube page I just created called Modern Masculine Man. My TikTok is Modern Masculine Man. My Twitter is Modern Masculine Man. But you can find all of my old content and the old Bears and Bubbles on my YouTube page, Javon M. Clark's Aggressive Church. He's going to tag that up. You can get my detox at jclarkproducts.bigcartel. So I'll send him that information to pin jclarkproducts.bigcartel. My Instagram, Modern Masculine Man. That I changed everything, started all over, and that's where you can find me at. And in the future, as I'm a teacher, so I like to teach about 20 minutes and then open the floor up for questions. And that's how I'm gonna be running this Modern Masculine Man platform. And I'm educated, I'm just not. That's why I call myself the master teacher.
Let me see if I can widen it here. Yeah, I mean they can't. Yeah, you can see a little bit better on there. I know it's kind of the camera's kind of zoomed, but you see that's his trophy room. Like he said, he got his accomplishments on the wall. But and anything. So we got any other places they can find you, or that was every.
That's pretty much all social media platforms. Modern Masculine Man, and my YouTube with Bears and Bubbles, Javon M. Clark's Aggressive Church.
Got you. And like I said, I'll have some in the description now that you guys can click on, and I'll also link it, afterwards, some of the ones that he mentioned for the restream for you guys watching. You can come back and click on it, later. If you can save it, like the video and things like that. Well, as usual, Javon, Mr. Clark, I appreciate you joining me this evening. It's definitely been a breath of fresh air, I think, definitely for me, obviously, but for everybody else who's not familiar with your work, your teachings, your ideology, your thought process, and your wisdom that you have imputed. And for those of you, obviously, this is just a small piece, a small slither of what the content that the work that he's been putting in on, YouTube and Facebook for the past, what is it, 6-7 years now, I think, upwards.
Yeah, longer than that. But, I was a bit, until I did the Mexican house video, that's when I kind of got known a little bit.
Got you. So for sure, check him out there. And with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Peace be upon you all. Make sure you guys purchase all the products that he has purchased. Subscribe to the channel. Do it right now. Follow him on Facebook and do that right now. You don't have to worry about tomorrow. You might forget, but it's all right there. So with that being said, peace be upon you all. The mercy and blessings to all of you. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. This is a great conversation, great people, and I'll talk to you guys soon. So
I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you again. And I am